on to...
Could somebody get these beggars out of here?
There we go.
Oh.
Okay, that is a take.
What does the
like-
Pinoy Odyssey look like?
And so that's what I'm saying.
This is my NVIDIA stock. This is what I keep saying.
I was born in the dark.
Really?
Travis Scott.
Like, I'm like, what is
Straight
this
up.
movie straight up?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Of course.
It's almost football
Fuck Tom
season,
Brady.
baby. Fuck Tom Brady.
All that to be said, I'll put number 1, baby.
Okay.
Because
Hello and welcome to Pinoys versus the World. My name is Chris Angkico,
My name is Harald Hyllseth.
and today we are joined once again by friend of the pod, Jared Garalde. Say what's up,
Hey.
Jared.
He's
What's
returned.
up?
He's been gone for 20 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing was going to stop me or my men from returning home.
Actually, none of his men made it back.
No,
So
not
It's
even,
just me.
not
It's
even,
just
not even Denver, where you were just
God.
at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just came back from Denver. That in itself was an odyssey.
Olivia
say.
Dean did not make it back with you. I'm
You
so
could
sorry
say.
to say to the fans.
Well, she's waiting back in Ithaca.
She's waiting back in
Waiting back
Ithaca
in
for sure.
Ithaca.
Her and
Yeah.
Penelope are chilling back there.
There we go.
Oh my God.
So yes, so from those unsubtle allusions to what we're going to be talking about today. Today we're here to talk about what is easily the movie of the year so far, The Odyssey. Is it as good as everyone says it is? Where does it rank in Christopher Nolan's filmography? Father or dad?
Ooh,
Daddy?
Daddy or daddy. That's a good one.
A sniveling bastard.
These are questions that we'll explore in this episode. But first, how are we feeling about this discussion today? How are we feeling about this movie in general?
Ooh, how are we feeling about this movie?
How are we feeling about this movie? Go first. I want to hear what you think.
Man.
You've been gone you took the journey home. It's been a
I
while.
did.
I want to hear
I
what you
went
have
on
to
the
say.
Odyssey myself for full immersion of this, and I gotta say, I liked it a lot. I don't know. So are we just giving kind of like rankings in the beginning?
Yeah, we're just doing some non-spoilers right now.
Man,
Yeah.
non-spoiler review. Okay, I'll preface. I've only seen it one time, unlike many people, and which is crazy. That's like a hot thing right now. It's
Multiple
like,
viewings.
Multiple viewings.
Multiple
It's only
viewings.
right for
Yeah.
a movie like this. And so I'm going straight off of the one viewing that I had, 70 millimeter at SIF downtown, with some technical difficulties, which
Yes.
is interesting. We'll
Yeah.
kind of talk about that
We'll
later.
talk- we'll
pay
get
the
into that a little
employees.
bit. But, like,
pay
We'll
the
get,
employees.
we'll get
Sif.
into that a little bit.
When I first watched it, it was kind of like, wow, this is really good. But now, thinking about it more, and I've had a lot more time to marinate on it, think about the performances and like the actual scale of this movie and how I actually feel about it. I was thinking about it for pretty much the entire week after I got out of the theater, and I'm so excited to see it again. Obviously, I had like trips. I had my own Odyssey, so I haven't been able to see it again. But I'm super excited. And honestly, I think you said this before. The fact that this movie exists in general is just like a statement in itself. And everyone is just kind of on their A game, being in a Christopher Nolan movie. I thought the performance was awesome. And I thought the effects were amazing in this movie. That has that needs no, introduction with, Christopher Nolan and VFX, or I guess special effects.
Special effects? Yeah, special
Several
effects, VFX, yeah.
And
There's like 5 tiers
Effects.
of effects in this movie.
Just effects.
Yeah, but the
FX. FX.
with all that being said, the amount of humanity that this movie I think has, in contrast to the grand scale of the actual, the movie itself, it's kind of awesome. I think the Matt Damon, that has a lot to do with Matt Damon and a lot of the other performances in the movie, where it feels super human and super grounded, and I think Christopher Nolan is pretty clear on like what he wants out of this adaptation specifically, and I think we'll probably also talk about the different takes on this adaptation and his choices, but I thought it was great, and I think, taking the movie as it is on its own, I thought it was awesome. And then, like you said, I think it's definitely one of the movies of the year. Ooh. Question is it the movie of the year?
It's a great. I think I would like to be asked this question
Yeah.
later, because I've also thought about this.
But
If it's my movie,
I
Are you
will
talking about
say-
so far?
so
or
far
like-
in 2026,
I will
the
say-
year of our Lord
this is
and Chris Nolan.
This is the type of movie you go to the movies for. I
Yeah.
mean, that's kind of like an overplayed statement, but for sure, something that you got to go see it. This is one of those movies, like, you might not be super into movies, but just go see The Odyssey. This is awesome. This is like watching Spielberg in our prime, pretty much.
Yeah,
And
it's a great comp. It really is a great comp,
Yeah,
especially
and
for the special effects and like
Yeah.
some fantasy world getting involved, a time of apparent magic.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity.
It feels like very much the culmination of a lot of his work so far. I saw a lot of his other Christopher Nolanisms
Nolan
in
slop.
this movie.
Yes. Nolan slop.
Yes. And so, yeah, it feels like this is not like a statement at all, but it feels like, yeah, what if Christopher Nolan made the Odyssey? And it 100% feels like this is his movie. He owned it. And it feels like a movie that like is very much in his language. And whether you mess with that or not is up to you. But I personally really enjoyed it.
Fire. Do
Very
you
nice.
have a score? A non-spoiler score?
Are we doing a non-spoiler score right now?
No,
Are we
this is
doing
score
that
on the
till
top?
end?
Yeah,
I will
see,
do-
when you were gone in your 20
listen,
years, we changed our format.
Listen, I started off as a 4 out of 5, and I think I'm going to save it as a 4 out of 5 as of right now, with the exception of, let's see what a repeat viewing is, because I really like it, and I think I want to bump it up. I don't think it's a 5. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any means, and I don't think it's like the best movie I've ever seen. I might be going into that later, but I don't think it's his best movie. Maybe,
Yeah.
well, maybe not. Maybe it is, but yeah, I think a solid 4 out of 5. We'll see where that goes. Check my letterbox.
JJ Gara.
JJ
You get little
Gara.
banners at the bottom,
There you
Jonas,
go.
more editing.
All right. Well, Harald, what about you? What are some of your early thoughts?
Wow, early thoughts. I mean, if you're tapped into @Pinoys Versus on YouTube, or I guess on Instagram as well, because if you are, you're watching this. Thank you so much. I put out a little, not really review. I think they were just really jumbled thoughts of a very impressed man sitting right in front of you.
Pretty cringe on, to be honest with
Pretty
you.
cringe. I would,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
should have made it on Grok.
Man. Wonder who that guy was.
Wonder
Wow.
who that guy was. I watched like 9 hours of the Odyssey this week. I've seen the Odyssey in 3 different formats: a quote unquote regular showing, 70 millimeter, and then IMAX. And unfortunately, in Seattle, again, those cowards at the Seattle Center, we're gonna keep smoking them for literally getting rid of the 70 millimeter IMAX screen in the Pacific Northwest, or one of them, right? At least for Seattle. So getting rid of that was a bummer, but getting to see it in 3 different formats, I guess maybe because of that, maybe I would have done it regardless. It gave me time to really sit with the movie that I started off at a 4.5 with. I remember the first night I watched it, opening night with our boy Henry Jacobson, fan of the pod, friend of the pod, and a resident historian himself working, he's working on his bachelor's right now, going to get his master's. He was the perfect person, I think, for me to talk to that night about what, really breaking down our thoughts on the Odyssey. And it was something where I left Christopher Nolan's interpretation of this film feeling very impressed. And then a little bit like, I pulled back a little bit on some criticisms I had, maybe with some of the editing, some of like how much like screen time a Penelope gets versus an Odysseus, which I mean obviously makes sense. This is Odysseus' story, but it's like, what could Chris Nolan really talk about with it's like a text that was made back in back in roots in 1170 like BCE, right? Like this is like thousands of years ago, and we don't even know if Homer is like one person or multiple people, and there's all this lore behind like the Bronze Age collapse and like who are the sea people and all of these things that I think, after speaking with someone like Henry and then getting, doing some research on like where historians stand on this film, going back to see it a second and a third time, I shot right up to a 5. It made it a 5 out of 5 for me. Everything from Ludwig van Göransson's score, which we'll get to because I want to hear what Chris has to say about it.
That's going to be a question I'm going to ask you.
It's going to be a
guys.
great question later. So I'm going to say right now, I'm going to glaze that. I don't think it's like 100% one of the great. I don't think it's the greatest Ludwig score, but I think the way that it's used, especially for moments like the sirens and the Cyclops and many scenes in Troy that I won't spoil at the top, throughout, like really hammer in like major points that I think. It's like, damn, like it's like really like reading an epic story and being fed an epic like visual representation of that, which I was a little worried about when I saw the trailers, the let's go, the daddies, the like, but like mixed in with like really
Travis Scott.
Like, I'm like, what is
Straight
this
up.
movie straight up? No Fiend. I will say, don't have to worry about it. Don't
No
listen to the
Fiend,
Instagram comments. No Fiend, but this movie starts crazy, I will say. But you see these trailers come out, and I'm like, damn, the trailers low-key got progressively worse and worse for me. I'm like, what on earth was Chris Nolan going to use the Odyssey to do and like, tell a story in our modern context, which I think he succeeded at greatly. And after seeing it a few times, and I mean, it really was like seeing it in IMAX, which is, I get it, a bit annoying. The conversation around it right now is like, you film this in 70 millimeter. I can't see all of Agamemnon's helmet. I can't see the
Too
full
much
cut
aura for the screen.
Too much aura for the screen. Too much Benny Safdie. Couldn't see the full giants. Couldn't see things that you should be allowed to see on a regular format screen. But also, I mean, almost making the arguments too, it gives people to go to the theaters, a reason to be in community in the theaters. And every single showing I've been in has been fucking sold out and super hype. So again, it's like there's a lot here that I'm sure maybe you, the viewer, listener, have also read the Odyssey that, I don't know if I'd be spoiling things. Obviously, there is a Cyclops, there are giants, there are sirens, but I think the way... Whoa!
Spoiler free.
But there are things I'd like to stay away from and how Nolan does like tell this story. Again, I think it's told greatly in a modern context that like when I left, I had tears in my eyes. I mean, I was very emotional leaving this movie because I think at the end of the day, it also is a very good... It's an anti-war movie, I think, in our current time. It's like really important, I think, that he centered it on that. But that being said, I just want to end understanding that today we also got some criticisms from Emily Wilson, who is the person who wrote the version.
You're getting a little ahead of me, I will say.
A little bit ahead,
Yeah,
so I won't
you're
get
a little
ahead.
of
I'm
me.
just saying, like, I get some of the historians aren't fucking with this. I get some people with very deep criticisms about how Nolan is still writing women, how like people of color are interpreted in these movies. Like, it's so funny because everyone thinks it's a liberal like slop movie when it's like there can still be like really good, I think, criticisms on like an art basis that Nolan didn't really land. But even with some of those criticisms that I do want to get into later and I share, I still think it's a 5 out of 5 for me. It's surpassed my expectations at nearly every turn. And like you talked about, like it's literally just like the spectacle, the amazing feeling that I'm sure people had thousands of years ago reading the Odyssey or hundreds of years ago, understanding like what Homer's interpretation of this in a really interesting part of human history that's just dark, bro. Like the collapse of the Bronze Age led to hundreds of years of darkness, nearly 1,000 years. Until people learned how to write again. People knew how to like get back into that. So all they had were like songs and Travis Scott to tell them how Odysseus got home. So
Exactly.
I'll leave it at that. I mean, there's more to get into. Obviously, y'all can tell I really love this movie, and I'm going to see it a 4th time in 70mm SIFF this weekend. Anyways,
Wow.
Chris, thank you for putting up a little bit of yap over here, but I want to hear what you think too.
Little yap chat.
Little yap, yeah.
But I
In your
will
little
say, I
corner.
mean, like the whole like repeat viewings thing. Obviously, again, that is like a common thing that is happening.
Totally.
So I do have some box office figures here. So
Ooh.
we're just finished the second weekend. So first weekend was the best worldwide opening for a Nolan movie ever at $264.1 million. That surpasses
Wow.
The Dark Knight Rises.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. Domestically, it is his 3rd best though. It's so like
Okay.
worldwide it was his best opening, but domestically it was his 3rd best opening.
Can we
124
guess?
million point five. Yeah. What do you think are the top 2?
Do you want to guess the one? I'll guess
It's
the two.
got to be because of so much of the hype surrounding Oppenheimer,
Barbenheimer. yeah.
Barbenheimer.
Yeah.
It's got to be up there.
Dark
and I
Knight?
think Dark Knight.
What would you go? 1, 2.
Am I overhyping like Interstellar and Inception and all of that stuff? But like
Maybe a
Dark
little bit.
Knight culturally, I just feel like there's no way.
Oppenheimer,
There's no
Dark
way that
Knight.
it's not those two. Right?
Oppenheimer, Dark Knight.
That you're gonna go Oppenheimer 1, Dark Knight 2.
I think so.
It's Dark Knight Rises 1, Dark Knight 2.
No
Okay,
way.
Dark
Dark
Knight-
Knight Rises.
Dark
I was
Knight-
born in the dark.
Dark Knight
You know what I
Rises
mean?
is his highest is his best
after
opening.
the banger that was the Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
Come on.
the hype train
Yeah.
is what brought, because it was
Yeah.
like it finished like I think 35 million more like domestically opening wise than Dark Knight did.
Crazy.
You really
So
started
where's
it.
Oppenheimer on that list?
Oppenheimer. Well, so no, Oppenheimer. I didn't see exactly. I just went top 3.
Yeah.
But I will say that Oppenheimer is number 3 on the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time list.
Wow.
All time. Holy shit.
976.9 million. So it fell just short of $1 billion.
That's crazy. This
There-
is PG-13?
This is rated R.
Rated
No,
R.
yeah, Oppenheimer.
Is this
yeah,
one?
R-rated movie.
2 behind.
No,
No,
yeah,
what was
so-
Odyssey?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, so Oppenheimer is number 3 on the R-rated movie list. Can you guess the other 2? That have
R-rated
both
movie list.
made $1 billion. They both made
Deadpool,
a-
Wolverine.
Yeah, it's Deadpool Wolverine
number
is
1.
on there.
That's
for
number
sure.
1. What's number 2?
That's number 1. Number 2, ooh,
R-rated, dude.
R-rated because it's not okay. We're like it's not gonna be a horror film. I was gonna say Get Out, but then there's no way.
Yeah. I'll say
yeah,
no. It's
there's
not
no
that.
way. It's gonna what was it? An R-rated horror film. Can you tell us the genre?
Hey, weapons.
No, there's no.
I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it when I say this. Superhero movie.
Is it the Dark? Oh wait, no, the Dark Knight's
Not the Dark
PG-13.
Knight.
Wait, Deadpool and Wolverine. What was another R-rated movie?
Was it Logan?
No.
Oh wait, that was a good.
Logan.
That's a good
Thank
one,
you.
though.
I love Logan.
Wait,
They need to let that man die.
Deadpool, Wolverine. What's another R-rated? Am I just like totally blanking on this right
I'm cooked,
now?
bro. There's
Probably
not
blanking. I
I'm
mean,
blanking.
Wait a minute. Oh
Does he
wait,
got it? Does he
I
got
think
it?
I think for the fact
it's
that
like
we're
on the
filming.
tip of my tongue. Okay, fine.
Tell
fine,
us.
Just tell
No,
us.
okay. It's Joker.
Oh my God! Of course,
It is Joker, number 2.
Joaquin Phoenix once again here to ruin my day.
Wow.
It just barely crossed $1 billion, $1.08 billion.
Really?
Yes. So the Joker and Deadpool and Wolverine are the only 2 R-rated movies so far
We're thinking
That's
of,
that have grossed $1 billion.
I think we were thinking Cinematic Universe a little 2 in the box.
I think
Yeah,
so.
a little bit outside
I think
of it.
because there's like
Yeah.
out of the R-rated movies, those are the only ones that really reach that threshold.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's just like
But anyways,
Thanks for doing the research.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's a good one. That's a good.
so
game.
I bring that up because we're now in our post second weekend of the Odyssey, and it's grossed $639.9 million worldwide.
insane. So it's on track for $1 billion.
And it is the 10th highest grossing R-rated movie of all time right now. So we could easily be sitting here next week, maybe talking about Spider-Man or something like that, or and we could easily be sitting at the Odyssey being easily $1 billion.
$1 billion. And
some-
Harald will be.
Yeah.
I'll be
What,
at
like,
least
what?
300 mil of
Yeah.
that. My entire net worth have gone into 70 hours of watching the Odyssey the last 3 days.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like
damn.
I think the rewatch is definitely like sort of power the experience sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
It's such a rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
40X.
Like there's just no way 40X is crazy.
Shout out XD.
There's just no way you can get the full experience almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to unpack.
Well, it's almost become like its own like campaign, its own activity where it's like, how many different ways, because you said 40X is you're joking, but like,
Yeah. That's another
my
way.
Totally.
Yeah, roommate
Yeah.
XD is like, he watched it in 40X. We haven't seen that in 40X, but it's like, because the Letterboxd has their little stamp thing or whatever it's called. I can't think of the name right now, but it's like you can like fill it out with the different formats. So you watch and how many times you watched
What?
it. It's
I
like
didn't know that.
it's a punch
Cool.
card. That's what it's called. It's a punch card. So like they have all the 6 different formats you can watch it in, and you can like they've made like an interactive card you can like punch it anyways. This is not a plug for Letterboxd, but it's just
Infinity Vision.
we're living in such an interesting time for movies.
yeah, but it's just like it really
Perforations.
the Odyssey. It feels like they sort of rolled out the stops on all the different ways you can market a movie. There were so many I'm on the YouTube side. That's what I do for like full time. There are so many you see like on Brittany Broski or like Matt Damon and Anne Hathaway go on like Royal Court.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Holland goes on Tom Holland's The Rest Is History.
Yes.
YouTube channel. They just happen to have the same name, and they did the Spider-Man meme, and they talked about the Odyssey, and it was like right in like their wheelhouse. Yeah. And there's lots of just different like ways that they're promoting the movie, and also too like it has the added benefit of people read it in high school.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read the Odyssey
But
at
it
all?
seems like a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did
it
you
was
read
like
the Odyssey?
it was like required.
Yeah.
Did you read it in
Required
high school?
reading. Yeah.
Okay.
We in 11th grade, maybe it was 11th or 12th grade, we had to choose a passageway from Beowulf and the Odyssey and then go in Old English and present it in front of the crowd and remember it. So it's like we were basically like Travis Scott in that moment. We were barding ourselves.
I will
So
say
that's what we had to do.
I
Yeah.
don't remember anything. I know
Oh, yeah,
of
the main points.
I
The main
know.
points.
Okay. I know of the mythology behind it, and I know Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
But like you know what I mean. Like I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology, but
Yeah.
like reading it. And can I just say,
Please.
why is everybody an Odyssey expert now?
Everyone's
all
an
of a
Odyssey
sudden?
expert.
Well, yes, that's something that I think we'll definitely go into too, because
Okay.
people are like, like historical accuracy, and it's not this,
The
it's
armor
not
is
that.
incorrect.
But it's like I was listening to I
Sure.
think it was like Plain English, the Spotify podcast, and there's one episode where like the guest that the guy has on like makes the point that like the Odyssey is just a big game of telephone.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
did not start out as a written like thing. It was like sung
Like
and all
many stories.
different translations and interpretations of the same thing. So it's one of those things where, even from criticisms of like just the common person to even like, as we'll get into, as you sort of alluded to, one of the translators herself,
The main translator that was used supposedly. as
everyone
the
has like
basis
a
of the
take
text.
on the Odyssey, and it feels like it's always just that movie cycle where like people need to like be like, oh, this doesn't work like it was in the comics or
Yeah,
that type of
and-
thing. Yeah.
Funny you bring up Emily Wilson.
Spider-Man
when
didn't show
Emily
up.
Wilson, right? And
Yeah, Emily
when
Wilson,
when her version of the Odyssey was published, everyone was like, "This is too much.
It's too
this is-
modern."
It's too modern.
Yeah.
It's too modern." Everybody has a take
They
on the
didn't
translation.
talk like this. They didn't speak
like,
like this.
read the
Yeah.
Robert Fagel's version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like or something like that. Like everybody has a different interpretation of it. She faced her own criticism on it, so it's just like everyone has an interpretation of this version of the epic.
Well, you almost get.
Are they all valid?
Well, because it's $700 million, it's almost made damn near through 2 weeks. Like
Fair
you
enough.
have like it's a mass appeal movie. You
lots
have
of-
historians.
yeah.
You have people like us who like watch movies regularly, want to talk about them. It's just like really I don't know, a good example of like the huge benefits of like a movie like this getting so popular is that everyone can have discourse about it. And it's got a lot of dissenters, a lot of glazers. I mean, there's a mix of the opinions here even. Is it on your list? Like, can we hear your non-spoiler thoughts? I want to hear your non-spoiler thoughts.
I would say that's the thing is that just being totally devoid of like, I haven't read the Odyssey. I'm just going into it as like, just like a piece of entertainment.
Yeah.
I think the spectacle is like amazing. You know, it's one of those things where, especially like on the 70 millimeter. So I got a chance, obviously, I got a chance to watch it with you, and we had the technical difficulties, which we'll talk about. But then I got the chance to watch it again fully, and the 70 millimeter is like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. You're gonna say something?
Well, the crazy thing about our 70 millimeter viewing experience is that, you know, first of all, thank you to all of the workers at SIF.
Yeah, for real.
There was technical difficulties. We had to switch to digital maybe 75% out through the movie. And then we watched maybe 75 to 85% of the movie in digital. And then we, at 85%, we watched the rest of the movie back in 70 millimeter.
To film at the end.
So you could see
the difference.
The difference.
Yeah.
Could you see the perforations?
Well,
the purse. Yeah.
Well, you can see definitely the way that like color is managed in digital for sure, 100%. So it's like, once the digital came on, it's like, I think we all just kind of went, oh, that's
shit.
what it looks like.
Very
cool.
And then yeah, when they basically like finish the reel in digital and then switch back to film, it's just like night and day. It's crazy how good it looks in the 70 mil. So I think like in this area, it's probably the best way to see it. I think, as long, you know, provided that it, you know, majority of the time it works.
Which is like, have you seen, it's just, there's the beauty of this film. Like, have you seen all the YouTube videos of all of the like 100 people on earth who know how to even show the 70 millimeter?
Yeah, totally.
Like we have a guy at SIF that's doing it. It's crazy. I'm sorry.
Again, that's another part of the marketing thing.
Yeah.
That just like
the
big presentation, like the IMAX, and that's kind of become its own like marketing thing in itself.
Yeah.
But I'd say, so the spectacle, going back to my little review before we get to the spoilers, is that like, you know, the spectacle I think is amazing, but I think there's just some like criticisms like that are kind of like whack-a-mole to me. It's kind of like one time it bothers me and another time it doesn't bother me type of thing. So I kind of like teeter between the 4 and the 4.5. So that's kind of the cue up for my rating. So like I started at a 4.5, like my first viewing. And then I went down to a 4, and then I stayed at a 4. But I could see myself going to a 4.5, kind of like reevaluating. So it's kind of like a weird movie that like it's up for discussion between like people, and it's also up for discussion in my own brain.
Right.
Whether
that's a
it's
good way
like,
to put it.
Whether it's like, oh, how, you know, how much are those criticisms and like little things, like how much do they affect my enjoyment?
Is Athena talking to you right now?
Well,
trying to convince you of a
exactly.
vibe?
Because
right
it's
here
almost like 3 different movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
for
You're
sure.
like, you're watching 3 different movies back to back, but then you can't really watch it as 3 different movies at the same time. So there's just so many things to consider in one sitting while you're sitting.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can you make decisions on that first? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, like, is 3 hours even enough time to tell the story of the Odyssey?
That's a good question.
That's what is the Iliad comes first. Yeah, it's the Iliad and then the
Iliad,
Odyssey, right? So it's like the journey home from the fallout of that war. It's like, I mean, it's again, shout out Henry and Chloe, friends of the pod. These are things that we keep bringing up in our conversations, and we have a very wide array of these opinions, right? But it's just almost like, can you fit the entire Odyssey like logically into 3 hours? And at that point, as Chris Nolan, are you trying to push 3.5 hours before the Odyssey? I don't know. Because what would come in like 2:52 and then plus like trailers? Yeah. Like I saw 3 10 p.m. showings because it was the only time I can get in for each one of the showings, and got out at like 2 a.m, just delirious, but feeling alive at the same time. You feel me? But yeah, it is interesting to say that you're coming out of each viewing feeling a little different, and then sometimes can switch the other way, because I do feel like I've heard very similar things from folks about how they've interpreted the Odyssey just because of how big it is, you know?
Yeah.
In a way, that's kind of the beauty of the movie, I would say. You know what I mean? There's something, that's what kind of makes it very unique, is that it kind of evolves and changes. And I wonder how in maybe 5 years we're going to talk about it.
10 years,
10
15,
years even.
you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would agree. I think that's a good place to like sort of end our non-spoiler thoughts, and we're gonna get these beggars out of here, and we're gonna move on to
Could somebody get these beggars out of here?
There we go. We're gonna move on. We'll move on to our spoiler thoughts after the break. And we're back with our spoiler thoughts of the Odyssey. We were just having some fun.
Emoting.
We were just having some fun getting these beggars out of here, like during the break. So
the feast is done.
The feast is done. We're just kind of
Pray
quoting.
for forgiveness.
We were going over some of our favorite quotables from the Odyssey,
So dumb.
and they still are at this moment. So I will hit us with a longer quote.
Good.
From Emily Wilson.
Fire.
Yes.
Nice.
So she
Fresh
came
this
out,
morning.
So fresh this morning, July 27th. This is when we're recording this.
Oh, boy.
So Earlier this morning, she came out with a scathing review of the Odyssey today. I will not be reading the whole thing for sure, but there's a quote on the Guardian article that read, I'll read it verbatim. Nolan's Odyssey lacks many of the elements that make the poem great. It has nothing convincing to say about time, memory, history, war, or about the relationship between one warrior's glorious return and the lives of his family, adversaries, comrades, friends, and neighbors. It lacks psychological, emotional, political, and ethical depth. Its narrative structure is gimmicky. The writing is abysmal. None of the characters has convincing motivation for their actions or words. There are no sex scenes, and all the food looks horrible. Her one sort of
I like that line a lot.
Yeah, her one sort of positive was that, it's not boring, but because she concedes that it's because of the source material. So it really doesn't even give him. It's like a backhanded compliment.
She hated it.
Yeah. She really
historians got to stand on business sometimes, because that's like, what does it mean if it's not if she's not backing up her text?
But yeah,
the question is,
go ahead. No, what's your question?
I think that's maybe where you were going.
Yeah, so I was gonna say historical accuracy, like purity to the source material, is not a discussion I think we can have. We sort of went into it. But I guess to start the spoiler discussion, to what degree do you agree or disagree with her statement?
I think she's coming from a very, very fair perspective as somebody who has studied this material for probably years or like
most of her academic life,
and most of their life, and it's just how can you approach that objectively? I think they're definitely coming from more of that academic perspective, and as a movie, though, how can you possibly I personally disagree with some of the things that she said with no emotional or psychological depth or talking about
nothing interesting to say about war and politics and relationships is a little tough for me to stomach.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I think that's part of the conversation. If I could jump in too, because it's again the history of this all and stuff that I'm new to this. I'm LARPing right now as one of these people.
I think we all are, but we're definitely coming here as movie lovers
collectively about the Odyssey.
I'm trying to qualify this discussion. We're we are not historians. We are not talking about historical accuracy because we do not have the knowledge to do that.
Couple of dudes who
we're just Filipino. Like, what can you ask out of
Filipino?
That's all you exactly.
What does the Pinoy Odyssey look like?
And so that's what I'm saying. I think their opinion's probably valid, but I don't agree with that. And I think with the idea of the adaptation as a movie, adapting something like this is literally the epic. Like, how can you adapt something like
E
this
epic as well?
And that's not necessarily an excuse for Christopher Nolan, I don't think, by any means. But it's just like, I definitely think that, man, the end of this movie really tied it home for me, and just like that was so emotionally powerful. And I just don't think that it was. And there's so much humanity in this, and I think that maybe not every single theme was explored to its fullest extent that you can with 1,000 pages of work and ability to like break down. But for a 3-hour movie, which is long by movie terms, but not anywhere near as the Odyssey could be a 12 episode TV show.
It could be a trilogy on its own right, and
so
something Nolan has done before.
You have to strip back certain things from the text and focus on a singular narrative. There's definitely multiple themes going on here, but I think as a singular narrative, it does work into bringing. I think it works as a way to modernize this tale in its own way and ground it in a different way that it hasn't been done in the movie format before. And I think that's a fair criticism, but I mean.
Well, so I think there's like two things. There's two things with this with Emily Wilson too that I got to say. There has to be a clear. We have to draw our line in the sand of being like, there is in this bucket the criticisms of historians that have spent their entire lives like really studying this text. You're like about it. Emily Wilson, her text getting used by Chris Nolan and him being very forward about that. Like, this is what we're using to write the screenplay and base how we're going to structure the film. There is a clear difference between her and her colleagues and a bunch of people actually LARPing as historians, right? And like, there's been a little bit of both of them that maybe they share similar gripes, but the gripes are not really based, I think, in the same amount of like legitimacy, right? And like, how much am I going to care about what some Joe Blow who's commenting in a Instagram like comment section, which might even be a bot, versus someone who spent their entire life doing this stuff. So in that basis, like, you just got to respect it, I think, baseline. This morning I woke up to discourse in one of my Discord servers from good friends who were just chatting about it, because there are things that her criticisms, I think, are like bringing in those of us that have given it a high score and can still admit to enjoying it. I think the discourse happened with people recognizing they still really liked the movie. But again, it's if I'm giving it a 5, and the person who this basically like wrote the text that Nolan based his version of this story off of is saying that she really like almost got close to just being like, I hated this, right? And maybe that's too strong, but has a lot of criticisms. Like, where does that leave me? It leaves me just being like, I think the Nolan interpretation of the film stands alone as a very like palatable but still like challenging text for a lot of viewers, for like a mass appeal. And I think that's one of those things in academia that I can't relate with, because it's not where any of us are at. Like, we all went and got to go and get degrees and stuff, but this is like real dissection of the text over years, and like you have a dialogue with your colleagues about this that then like you can like change things here or there. And if you see all this stuff, you know, that you've spent time working on and you know is most likely the truth we understand now, and then, you know, the big blockbuster Spielberg equivalent of our time is going out and making this big movie with a lot of big action set pieces. And, you know, sure, like there's not very accurate food, not very accurate clothing. Maybe like the colors.
I remember when it first dropped, they were like,
Everyone
"This is
was
what Odysseus
beefing.
armor should look like," and
it
it's
was
all
thrown in
awful.
like, that's why we're gonna throw it in a grok. And again, it's
no,
like
that looks cool, but like,
but
it's like this is a way for you if you want to engage with the text. It's gonna be there.
it's a good gateway, bro.
Well, I would say, yeah, because that is one sort of concession that Emily Wilson, I believe, has at the end of her essay, is that she's like, oh, like, even though I really hate this movie, I hate this interpretation, at least he's getting people to like go to the text now, basically.
Right.
And that's the thing, is that like people are interested in reading it now because they have this movie, and it's like, okay, let's go further.
Right. And like,
Yeah.
I think whether, you know, I personally think that the movie works as an adaptation. I think obviously people like Emily Wilson don't, but the fact that this was an effort to try and modernize something as a way to get people who maybe like you and me haven't fully read the Odyssey or don't remember it, to be like, hey, yeah, let's go. And you're reading the Odyssey right now, so right?
I'm not actually
okay,
committed
he
to that
will.
yet.
Emily,
but I will.
Emily, he's gonna read your text.
There you
But
go.
yeah, like
gonna
I
do it.
definitely know people who are like, yeah, I'm going to read the Odyssey in preparation for this movie, blah blah blah, or whatever. You know, and that's awesome. Like this is another. The way I see it, it's another step in this history of telling this story, whether through language or through text or through now,
you know, another version of Homer, right? All the pen names, and like Jonas even was
and
like
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. Jonas was. I'll say this one thing about what Jonas told me after he saw the film. Obviously, like he loved it a lot and he had a great time. He was just like, man, this is what these kids get to watch in like high school. They're gonna get to watch Chris Nolan's The Odyssey like on the projector screen to learn about the text and engage with it, which is also
That's
like
true.
What a great press. It's a very diverse cast. There's a lot of good stuff going on, but I get where Emily's coming from.
Yeah,
totally. I think there's a fair, like, again, we're not historians, we're not experts like this, so we're coming at this very much from a Joe Schmo perspective who love movies.
I think also too, like, you know, Nolan is like, he did the same thing for Oppenheimer. I think a lot of people, because he based Oppenheimer off American Prometheus, which is the Oppenheimer like book. So it's like, okay, that'll encourage some people, at least 2 or 3 people, you know, at least somebody is going to go back and read that book. I'm sure someone after Oppenheimer was so interested in it that they're going to go back and read like the whole account. And that's the thing, is that these, you know, I understand like if you know, however much you engage with the text or not, like to have some like problems and criticisms, that's just kind of what movies are. They're never like one-to-one retellings, because that'd be boring as hell.
Yeah.
So it's like Christopher Nolan is like, his whole task, like being a big blockbuster filmmaker and being the guy who's going to get butts and seats, is you're going to have to like split the difference between any kind of accuracy but also just entertainment.
Exactly.
And I think he's done that.
He's making movies for audiences to watch.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. He said it in interviews, like, I'm making this ultimately for the audience to watch it in a movie theater. So it's like, of course there's going to be things that are cut from the movie. Of course they're not going to get to like, it has to work as an entertaining movie, and we're not going to be able to go into these multi-literary like and break down all of the literary devices and stuff. But then it opens that door to you, which is
like, I think it challenges the audience in a way that like Oppenheimer really laid the groundwork for, but I think it even does. Well, like, I know some people like are more like Oppenheimer stands and they are like the Odyssey coming out of this. I'm a little spoiler for my top 4. I have the Odyssey ahead of Oppenheimer on my list.
Okay.
But not by much. And I think it's really because, like, at least for me, like, I just engaged with his version of like the screenplay he wrote, which is maybe like I'll back off of being like I was way too high on the screenplay coming out of it. I still think it is incredibly engaging, no matter how many flaws like it has, and I think those flaws are very, like Emily Wilson touched on it. Like, please, like, go read her dissection of this film.
Yeah.
It's still, again, like, I challenges like a normal audience member to the point where it's like, wow, you've given me such an entertaining time that left me in like an absolutely devastated space where there are still people who are like Joe and Blow, that are saying like, this movie sucked because of X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, you're not even in the same stratosphere as us. And then in the historians and folks who do this work are in another stratosphere, right? So if it's not making 700 mil off of that and like, alone, talking about the economic impact of this is one thing. But yeah, I just think in general, like it does, I counter some of these things and like I do think it challenges regular audience members in a really good way. And like, what the fuck is going on in the world right now? A lot of similarities to what you learn in Oppenheimer and the Odyssey. Like the final shot of this film with the burning horse, like I'm just like the Trojan horse is very symbolic throughout the film, and the editing style of how they return to it multiple times through Odysseus's eyes is really powerful. And I think the way it ends is just like, well,
how good is that ending? Huh?
It's pretty damn good. It gets more depressing as things go along. Like his movies have become less hopeful, I think.
And I'm sorry, nobody wants to see Grok make a fucking perfect adaptation of this movie. Nobody wants to see that.
Because perfection doesn't exist.
Perfection in this does not exist. It's so true.
We want to see historically accurate AI-generated Helen of Troy because we don't like Lupita
miss
Nyong'o.
Me with that, bro. Miss me with that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But no, you sort of get into the fact that like you're sort of alluding to something that the last thing I want to bring up with this is that like the nonlinear time, like she says the narrative structure is gimmicky, which I thought was interesting. And that's something that I definitely disagree with because
100%,
Christopher Nolan is like, he's the nonlinear time guy. He like jumps back and forth. And I think without, again, not having read the Iliad and the Odyssey, but it just feels like the length that I know these books are, like these poems are, is like, you probably can't tell the whole thing without the way that he did it, where like people like, there's like, you jump back and forth. Like Matt Damon is like stranded on this place and he has to retell, like he has to remember what happened to him. And then you just kind of get like these highlights from like the Battle of Troy and stuff like that. And like what people remember of Odysseus, even though I like those parts where it was like, where like people are like recounting like, stories of Odysseus, like the hunting dog and all this other stuff. And like,
oh wow, yeah.
When they were like hanging out with the kids, and like when people like Sinon like enlisted in the army and Antonius was there and stuff like that. All this different like parts where it's like you see all these people interact with Odysseus, and then you see where he is now, and then what he had to go through, and all this other stuff. I liked the way that like Nolan kind of went through the gamut.
You get to see three versions of Matt Damon's Odysseus: a young Matt Damon, a war veteran Matt Damon, and the Matt Damon that comes home like a Greek god, just chiseled as fuck. But like very different versions of him throughout, interacting with different characters of the Odyssey. At one point, his son didn't even exist. Like all these things.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, gimmicky is kind of a strong word. I would say.
I agree.
She definitely felt some type of way about this.
This is definitely his most, I would say, one of his more clear,
understandable movies
and understandable timelines. And I think for a movie like this, where there's a lot more we got to focus on, we got to go from here to here to here to here to here. We shouldn't be messing with that nonlinear timeline because, again, I think I'm definitely of the mind of like this has to exist on its own as a movie, like. With the whole conversation around adaptions of like, it's probably good to understand or have some level of understanding of the text that it's adapting, but also like as a movie, right? If we were playing around with these nonlinear structures and going crazy with the timeline, I don't think this movie would have worked at all. Like, I think like this was a very way that was like logically, I think this was a logical decision to make it like, okay, we're recounting these memories in order for the most part.
Yeah, you definitely need to like quell the storm of like all these different things that you have to like, all these different like characters and storylines and like all this stuff you need to like relay to the audience in like an under 3 hour package. Because you could, you could be there all day. You could make like 3 movies. I've seen people that were like, oh man, like what if you made like Iliad and then like
Right, yeah,
Odyssey, like Iliad
yeah.
part 1 and 2, and then like Odyssey part 1 and 2. But it's like
Like, we're not trying to make a franchise.
We're not trying to make a
We're not
franchise.
franchising
Nolan
Homer's
is
The
not.
Odyssey.
Nolan
Like,
is
we're not
not
Homer's
interested.
Odyssey.
He just wants to go from one thing to the next and like see what he can
Well,
do.
the challenge was to fit this crazy story
in 3 hours
into a movie.
yeah.
And I will say, for like my last thoughts on the Emily Wilson stuff, like I think again, I would encourage people to read it. I still need to read it fully, and even understand like where she's coming from. And I think to get a full like wrap around on my experience with the film. But there's stuff that you would have never known that Nolan and his team were obviously not going to divulge. Like there's some, pretty sus stuff about how they didn't engage with the native tribes or the indigenous people of the land where they filmed the siege on Troy. That's something that got kind of squashed down. Like that is something the public should know about. Like, the way Nolan interprets women in his text is still like not close to his strongest point and like probably his weakest still in this. While I enjoy like Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o, etc.'s performances, I still think women in this movie are not like as properly written as like, someone else other than Nolan writing the screenplay could do. But he's getting better at it. And I think, again, you got to, with all art, you got to engage with it. You got to get deep with it. And this is like a movie that fucking demands 110% of your intention from beginning to end, whether you like it or not. And obviously for us, Emily Wilson, many people that have engaged with it so far are seeming to do pretty deeply. So I think that's just a benefit. We need to up the literacy rates. We're losing literacy.
And huge respect to Emily Wilson. That's like
facts, bro.
awesome.
10 out of 10.
Awesome
10 out of 10
criticism.
auteur.
Yes.
But you bring up a good point. I don't know if this is where we're going with it, but in terms of like criticisms, are we going that route or are we going somewhere else?
Lead us. Lead me, Chris.
We can finish with the criticism because
I'm in a mood to be led.
My next question will be more fun. I will say.
Okay.
Finish
we're
on
gonna
yours.
do the discussion right now.
The only really big gripes with this movie is I never felt like Christopher Nolan was a huge like. I don't think he's an amazing screenwriter. And when I say amazing screenwriter, right, I think like he's really good at managing the story and managing beats and everything. But in terms of like dialogue and all of that stuff, I think that's fair enough. I never thought that like that was a kind of a discussion when we first watched it together. Was like, okay, the dialogue isn't amazing. It's not like mind blowing or blowing. It's kind of like we're moving the story around, and I didn't think that was the central aspect of the story to me.
Right.
I felt it was very much centered in the performance, and also, I mean, there was like definitely some scenes I'm like,
well, there were some like peaks.
Amazing.
There were some like crazy peaks in the screenplay, kind of similar to how I look at like the soundtrack, for example. Like the peaks are like fucking nuts, and I'm like these one-liners, these two-liners are.
I will
great.
say, like the Matt Damon monologue at the end with Penelope,
great scene.
The Odysseus monologue, amazing, ties the entire film together for me.
When you find out,
I say like that's probably the weakest part of the movie for him, and for me, and I think like that definitely shows in a lot of people's like criticisms and my own. I think like. It wasn't for me the reason why I love the film, because I think a lot of the heavy lifting does come from the other aspects of the movie. And I don't know how that's how you guys feel. Like, what are your gripes?
Yeah, what are my gripes of it? I mean,
because like you're a 5.
I'm a 5 with gripes. It's not a perfect 5.
And I, like the things surrounding the production, I wasn't really aware of. So that's really interesting. Like
these things only come out, I think, in if people have the courage or gumption to talk about them, especially when you realize that there is a difference between the level of push and pull that Emily Wilson has with the public compared to a Christopher Nolan. Again, this is like, we keep referencing her because this was just big news today, and like it's very valid. We have to talk about it because we know about it now. But I mean, I maybe like we could tee you up if you're still thinking about it. Like, I do think, again, some of my criticisms are from like the 100% beginning to end screenplay. At least at the beginning, I had more issues with like the Calypso editing and like how those scenes worked out.
Weird
the pacing can be a little weird. Like the highs are so high and then the lows. I actually sometimes find myself in these 3 viewings I've had so far, that being the biggest fan of like the interpretation of the giant scenes. But again, it's like there was something about the last time I saw it where it all just kind of came together and clicked. And I kind of understood that I felt like I had to give it a 5 out of 5 because of how much I just like loved the experience, and also now like the fallout in a really good way of how much we're talking with friends. Like I'm engaging with people who have never given a damn about these movies. I mean, like outside of like
100%.
no, seriously.
Yeah, it's like somebody will just text me like,
have you seen the Odyssey?
My like, grandma, Odyssey was hella good. I was like,
my grandma's here talking to me.
Yeah.
Shout out Mimi. Grandma's out here talking to me about, she's hearing about people loving the Odyssey. I'm like, we don't talk about like new movies like that. So when it's reaching the elders, the young people, everyone in between, everyone's engaging with it, which is just like, my soul just needs to feel happier that people are like wanting to talk more about this type of stuff. So altogether, I mean, it's a 5 out of 5, but it's a complex 5 out of 5, and it's not one that comes without criticism. So, but I know you had definitely had more criticisms. Like we had some disagreements on like where we fell on some things with how the movie worked out.
I just thought there were some like immersion breakers in the movie. Travis Scott
Let's
being
go.
one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis Scott
Totally.
being one of
That
them.
was like very strange,
Yeah.
but like
a fleet,
yeah, exactly.
straight up.
I remember you saying that the immersion breaking stuff
Because,
like, there's
like-
things that took you out a little bit.
Yeah, because even, I mean, again, like I will concede very much that like Travis Scott is not in the movie that long. He is like very short, very quick, and some people it's like, I'm sure like 90% of people like it's not that distracting.
Yeah.
But for me, like I love Travis Scott's music, and I was thinking
Hell
about
yeah.
it the whole time, and I was just like, but I'm just like what
that's
they
just
had,
Travis
what
Scott.
they had him doing, just like a face, because it's like it's like Denzel Washington Gladiator 2. They just dropped him in there. It's
crazy.
He's just wearing traditional garb, but he's talking like he's in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
kind of weird. So it's like we're kind of weird, like anachronistic. It felt like a little too anachronistic
In some
for
areas,
me.
huh?
Because he's not really telling the story at all either. If he had more like substantial like lyrics or like some script to like, you know, sort of recount the story a little bit and like sort of tee up the edit, I think that would have been kind of a more interesting way to like use Travis Scott.
The first 15 minutes are incredible, but then you have to be like, oh, Travis is here giving me the bard version.
Well, just because
storytelling of
again, I
Troy.
just don't like a
siege.
face, a war,
a siege.
Yeah.
a trick. I just didn't like that. I didn't
Was
like
it-
what they had him say. I would, yeah.
Was it the dialogue too that was immersion breaking?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You're talking about overall dialogue or like what he's saying?
Overall.
Overall, I mean, here's the thing. I didn't think the whole like father versus dad thing.
Me either.
I didn't think that was a big deal at all.
Manufactured
I
rage.
did not.
Rage
It was
bait.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
kind of
rage
rage
bait
baity for sure. I don't think, and honestly, I don't think the dialogue really upset me that much. But there just were like certain phrases like "our age of bronze is collapsing."
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
We
was
talked
another
about
one
this
where I was like,
yesterday.
I don't know. That's like the whole
Yeah.
JFK and Oppenheimer.
Screenwriting thing. is
Some
just
guy
like,
named
yeah.
Kennedy.
Some Massachusetts senator. Kennedy, is it?
Kennedy.
Yeah.
is it?
And I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do?
Like, you're like, oh.
JFK will return Avengers Doomsday.
They're like winking at the camera.
Oppenheimer
Yeah.
2 is going to star JFK, played by Sebastian Stan.
Oh.
So it's in those types of moments where it becomes a little bit too like, you know, entertaining, like, you know, big like
Yeah, because
popcorny movie.
the goal was to make it feel like it's, you know, today, and I know that was his intention to make, like, that's why everyone speaks in American accents or uses that kind of slang. But to your point, yeah, like sometimes it's to the detriment, but I don't think that's like necessarily like as big as everybody said it was, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
how much does one critique mean to one person compared to another, right? And how much like
Yeah.
importance do you put in? Like, I look at Travis Scott. I'm sorry, all I can think about is the fallout of Astroworld. That's all I can
Yeah.
do anymore when I
Yeah,
see him.
yeah.
And I'm sure some people fell with that too, regardless of the music.
But like in the context of the scene, "Let's Go" is fine.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually
Daddy is even
amazing.
fine.
Yeah.
Everything in
You hear
Hades
that?
is incredible. Do you hear that?
Clip that out of context.
Put me out of context right now.
I would say also
Computer.
I would also yeah. I would also say my other criticism is like, yeah, some pacing things. It did feel like where it was like, it's very easy to check out sometimes when you go back to Ithaca. Because there's not a lot for me that really happens on Ithaca. Because it's very much like, it's very much Odysseus trying to get back home. Once he arrives on Ithaca,
So
then
suitor
it's like,
scenes are not really like
suitor scenes
vibing
were
with
not like until like, you know,
Interesting.
You know what? Same. Well, actually, I said that in the first viewing of the movie. I was like, I don't care about the suitor stuff right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but at the end, I was like, oh, okay, now I care.
yeah, 'cause
Like, you know,
it just kind of feels like,
Yeah.
it just kind of feels like Tom Holland, who again, I have mixed feelings about his performance, but it's really just like Tom Holland, like having to like be there and be like, oh, like, where's my father? Like, I got to go find my father. Sort of.
Yeah.
Then Anne
That's a
Hathaway's
perfect
like,
Tom Holland
then Anne
voice.
Hathaway's
Daddy,
like,
please.
yeah, Daddy, please. You're Odysseus. You're my father.
What the hell even is that?
Yeah, so he's got to like, he basically just like goes to like Sparta. He goes to like one place and then comes back.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Odysseus shows up.
Yeah.
Let
and
me
then,
tell you something.
And then like Anne Hathaway, I will say like Anne Hathaway though. Yeah, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Anne Hathaway, very good though.
My God,
Amazing.
she's spectacular.
Amazing.
I want
Yeah.
Odysseus.
I think she is carrying this movie a little bit. Actually,
she's
I
hard
would-
Ithaca
I-
carry. She's hard Ithaca carry
Sure,
for
yes,
sure.
that-
Matt
that's the thing.
Damon
Yeah.
and Himesh Patel.
Mhm.
Amazing.
100%.
Amazing. Matt Damon, I think, is kind of a little bit under. I guess I don't know. Maybe I thought he was awesome. Like bringing
That's
like
my
this-
Odysseus, man.
This huge, like very weird, like unsure of himself, but also very human and dad-like. You
My
know what I mean?
Odysseus
Like
is
daddy-like.
Bostonian.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Boston.
unfortunately for the people,
Boston.
but Do we want to get into that? Is it time to talk about? Now we're gonna flip the coin a little bit, get into some loves.
Yes, I was. Oh yeah. So like,
lead us, Chris.
Again,
Yes.
I just want a
Let's
big,
do this fun
more
question.
bigger picture question, which I will answer first because I really want to.
Please.
What was your favorite scene? So while you think about that, my favorite scene is
already
the
know.
Siege of Troy. Easily.
Oh,
It is
so
easily because
good.
it's like the way also it's like teed up is like Menelaus is talking to Telemachus about like, oh, my dad's Siege of Troy, this type of stuff. And then John Bertha goes like, do you know what it was like from the inside? And
so good.
And then it cuts to like, the whole like, then he kind of
Let me
narrates.
tell you something.
Then, yeah, he says, let me tell you something, of course, 5 times. But then he like, he narrates the whole process of like, we were stuck in that for days and all this other stuff. And then all the painstaking process of first of all, the horse having to come out of the beach. And then all these people like dragging it on. And then also like, Sinon getting killed and like what that looked like what that felt like from inside the horse.
Visceral.
And then like when the guy gets like stabbed through the thing and then the guy has to clean off the blood before the sword comes up.
Yeah.
You're talking about allusions to other Nolan movies. That reminded me, there's a scene in Dunkirk. I don't know if have you seen that?
Yeah. Totally.
Where like they have to like, Harry Styles and company have to like hang out in a boat.
Thank God he's not in this movie.
But like it's like it's just like a boat on a beach and they're waiting for the tide to come in so the boat can move. And so they're just hiding in it. And while that's happening and while they're getting in on the water, the Germans are like shooting at the boat.
Yeah.
They don't know anyone's in there. But basically like people are getting like shot accidentally because they're like looking through the holes that are like the perforations that are they're trying to plug those up.
Yeah.
While they're getting plugged up, people are getting shot. So I was like, okay, this reminds me of Dunkirk, like the close quarters type stuff.
It's so visceral. Like people
Yeah.
are like pissing and shitting.
And they're drowning.
And they're
Yeah.
throwing up and drowning. And it's like really grounds you in the reality of like, dude,
Yeah.
this must have
The
sucked.
scene where he gets stabbed and then
Yeah.
they're actually, I didn't even recognize him. We talked about this last night. I didn't see it until the third viewing, but when the handkerchief
cleans the
in,
blood. Yeah, they got to
and
clean the blood off.
Cleans the blood off.
And like it plays out like a heist film for like the second half of it.
Yeah,
like they're like
bro.
climbing out of the horse and it's like, shit, and then they go, do.
Yes, I like the fact that like they even like go through the whole process of like staying quiet while the horse is being tilted up. And they have to like stay still, like make sure they don't like
Yeah.
There's even
scream
someone
and
trying to squirm out and they have to like hold him like almost to
Yeah,
kill him. And
yeah.
he's like, I'm good.
because he's like, yeah,
I'm good,
He's
guys.
like, I'm hurting. They're like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, and
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
oh no. Okay, so and then it becomes basically like a stealth mission.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
which is crazy because like for one, the horse is perfectly constructed, which is insane. It's like so pristine.
Yeah.
That's not.
I
That's
know
not true
Emily
realism, but
Wilson
that's-
did not
but
fuck with
that's-
that.
Yeah.
It's
but that's
way
just
too
But
clean.
that's just a fun thing. It's
Yeah.
just a very, very nice aesthetic
Yeah,
Trojan
yeah,
horse.
yeah.
But I like the whole like silent when they drop
Yes,
the bottom
and
off.
then there's
they
no
rope off,
sound.
and then it just becomes like Assassin's Creed
Ultimate
almost. Where
like,
it's like
and the score is like building
That's the thing, it just-
suspense this entire time.
and it just
Percussive
keeps
as fuck,
the beat
dude.
just like keeps getting faster and faster. And like by this point, there's like no narration, no dialogue. So you're just watching like Matt Damon and company just like just like hidden blade their way through like the entire like inner workings of Troy, and they're like getting all the
It's
guards.
just the Punisher, bro.
Yeah. And then so that like and like the action just keeps going. Then people are starting to get out bows and they're starting to shoot people. And then more troops are starting to come in from Troy. They're realizing what's happening and they're coming in. But then like there's that great scene where like as the Troy troopers are ringing the bell, Matt Damon throws like a lamp over the edge and you can
all
see
unsheath
all
their
the
swords.
troops.
So good.
All the troops coming in and then that's when like the narration starts coming back and it was like, oh, he knew exactly when to like strike or whatever. So it's like it like emphasizes that he's like a really like cunning, smart general. Like he knew exactly what he was doing. And then the whole like tense part when like they're opening the door and then you can tell like the troops are like the Troy troops. It's like their last stand before the door opens and they're all like completely fucked. And so they're just like frantically, desperately shooting at people and like people are dying and all this other stuff. But then the doors open and then it's just
silence.
Agamemnon just like
ultimate
whoa.
maximum aura
ultimate
moment. He just
maximum
popped his
aura.
ult into Troy.
And it's
popped
just
his ult.
and it's just him for like 4 or 5 seconds, and then everyone just goes, "Ah!"
Yeah,
and then
so
everyone just starts
good.
screaming, and then that's the end of the flashback. But then we see
Again.
so it's like the
Yeah.
non-linear time thing. It's like the whole like destruction and siege and like the murderings and like pillaging.
Well, they find out they're the sea
happens
people.
after.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, they're the people from the sea. But it's like afterward, there's like a bit of an epilogue to it where it's like the consequences of war. But like the way that siege is like engineered, it's like like cunning battle, like escalating, like pacing, action, music, editing, all just works in that scene.
And think about how it's
100%.
sandwiched too. Like the first scene, you're led to believe it's like, oh my god, these guys are fucking dope. And like, yeah, of course they've been on let's get off this 10 years on this fucking beach. They say that shit. Like they've been there, and like what Odysseus is unknowingly doing in the moment because he's so locked into this just warring time. Like you're watching the first crew come through, and you're saying they're Assassin's Creeding everyone. You're low-key rooting for them in your head, and it's tricking you into believing that they are the good guys because they've spent this whole time doing all this stuff, but they're breaking. We haven't even talked about Zeus's law once today. This is like the crux of the film, and the crux of what Nolan is trying to say is that when you cross that line of trust, when you cross that line of like, there's several interpretations of it, but I'll just go with especially like that trust, that deceit, you know, like the siege that does happen through the Trojan horse. Like he's like, this is like what I'm centering in on, is like once you cross Zeus's law, it's like opening up. It's like what Oppenheimer does with the nuclear bomb. It's like you cannot close the Pandora's box once you open it, and that's what leads to our Bronze Age's collapsing line, and like, you know, the direct association with like, yeah, they are the sea people. What they do is like fucking terrible because they siege, they kill, they rape. This is like touched on in Cersei's scene with the pigs and transformations and calling them exactly what they are as the men. Scary stuff. But it's like the beauty of that scene is like you can have that first half. It's really crazy. They released it in IMAX, right? In that one.
That's right. There was a preview before something. Avatar?
It was definitely Avatar.
It was Avatar.
We saw it in Avatar.
Yeah.
And then the second half shows you why exactly you need to question these things. And I think that is a benefit of the screenplay, a benefit of the way that the movie is told.
It's like the spectacle first and then the consequences afterwards when you need it. You know?
Totally.
So it's not, you're not getting that scene all like beginning to end in one shot because it's not as effective as if you get the beginning in this one part and the end when you need to talk about the consequences of the war.
And at the same time, Penelope is realizing that Odysseus has come back home, and it's just, there's so much emotion happening in it. Anne Hathaway is behind so many screens, and like I don't know, like when you look at the camera's looking through her like grandfather's like tapestry she has to unweave, and every time she's behind like the suitor separation between that group and her, like everything about that scene's incredible. Can I jump into telling you about my favorite scene? Because I've
absolutely. I was hoping you would.
My God. I'm going to do a little bit of a political answer because I think there's so many, but I'm going to center around on what I focus on. One, I've got to give a little bit of love to the Cyclops scene, because that is just like,
ooh,
when the Cyclops screams, like a lot away from it being Bill Irwin in physical cosplay as like a naked Polyphemus or the Cyclops, I forget the name.
It was also a puppet too.
It's a puppet. It is incredible CG work.
Yeah.
The scream that's happening, like when Bill Irwin is like eating, like
that's a crazy sound effect. That's a crazy sound effect.
It like sent chills down my spine. I did not think I was gonna.
Yeah, actually, it was. I haven't had a sound effect like I've seen movies that are scary. I've never heard a sound effect that was scary.
There's so many horror moments that Christopher Nolan's kind of dabbling in, and it like that was one of those scenes where I was just like, holy shit, this is insane. It's like a horror movie.
I mean, even like the final scene with between Tom Holland and Telemachus and Telemachus and Penelope before they open up for Matt Damon's big return as Odysseus with the suitors and the bow. I mean, the bow is amazing. Like Samantha Morton's like incredible in this movie. Like she was the only one apparently that's gotten a standing ovation since the crew gave Heath Ledger a standing ovation on one of these Nolan films from her performance in that. But I come back to one scene in particular, and it's the siren scene. And I think the siren scene is something that...
that is a take.
The siren scene
very cool.
is something that like I think changed my brain chemistry genuinely. And again, I think the siren song and like what Ludwig and his crew did of recreating these instruments from the dark ages of this time that we don't really have a whole lot to base off of, and almost bringing them back to life. And then also what I consider to be a really gutsy call, and one that worked very well with me, is not including what the siren saw actually is. And it just being the most somber version of a flute you've never heard, because they had to recreate a lot of this shit for the modern audiences and the modern scene. And it encapsulated with like how do you interpret I'm going to say Matt Damon every time. Fan of Tom Brady. It's like Tom Brady has way too many connections to this movie through his Bostonian accent. Anyways, it's almost football season, baby. Fuck Tom Brady. But Odysseus and like Odysseus's choice to be wrapped around the pole, and like I think you can pull a lot out of that. Like there's a lot of like the terror and fear and horror of the crew trying to like they have the wax in, but they're locked in. But obviously our Asian homie, he's deciding
swimming towards the ABGs.
He's swimming towards them, bro. Like he's locked in because he wants a little taste of what he saw Odysseus reacting as. And as this is all happening, you're like, it's like the same thing of when Odysseus like shoots the arrow at the Cyclops' eye. It's like, bro, you didn't need to do this. Like, this is not a man I think at any point in this movie should be looked at as a righteous individual. Kind of similarly to like like fucking Oppenheimer. Like, sure, he's cooler than Oppenheimer physically and has a more presence, but it's kind of that vibe where it's like, I don't think you should leave this movie at any point feeling like Odysseus is like a hero. He is a complicated man that has way too much fucking power and is like using it in these ways and going through these trials where he wants to save his men. He keeps talking about saving his men, but then he's like, I want to be the first man to listen to these siren songs. Guess what? Because you did that, one of your men died and is to never be seen again. And his poor, like, if we're standing next to each other, I want to hear the siren songs. I'm pulling out the wax. I'm screaming. He's trying to hold me back. He just lost his like buddy he's been rowing with for like 20 fucking years because Odysseus didn't think about that because he wanted to be the first man to do that. And on top of all of this is this incredible monologue. Second to the Troy monologue, right, for me, is like him describing what it is. And like, I thought that was so powerful. I think it's the best writing in this movie is like him delivering that it's like this, it's basically a song of the things that you know you want, which are the things you lost and cannot return to, or you cannot receive back or something like that, right? Like what you have lost you can't have it. And like, man,
you
once
can't have and what you can't have,
like something like that. It's like something you lost the things you never had, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not doing justice to it, but then he's just like, they're telling me why I don't want to go home. And like on the second, third time I watched that shit, I was fucking bawling. Like I was like, it was the most uncontrolled crying that I had to like really cover up because I was like, this is low-key embarrassing. But I was just like, because there's so many people in the crowd too. But then I look around and I'm like, there are some other people tearing up. I just think if it hits the right emotional aspect for you, at least for me it did. I'm just like that song and returning to it. It's like we saw the meme, we were talking about it before. It's like, yeah, what are you listening to? The Sirens by Ludwig Göransson.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how I felt. It was like the biggest emotional hit point for me in the film next to the Siege of Troy. And it's just like, I didn't think he was going to do that with the Sirens. And I think that is inventive. And I think that's something we should give him and his team credit for doing. So I'm gonna end my very excited diatribe. Make this one into a short, Jonas, because I fucking love the siren scene. That shit is gas.
Well, credit to you. I haven't heard that one as a favorite from anyone. So
totally.
like, hey, that's a good one.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I've been thinking about this movie so much. Himesh Patel in that scene, great.
Oh, Himesh Patel, MVP.
MVP of like honestly the movie,
good
bro.
In general.
Yeah.
As a general.
I got them done.
As a general. I mean, that's the thing. He's holding his own with Odysseus, with Matt Damon in terms of like the screen time and like presence and like he's got the urgency and like he feels like he has the command of all the people.
Frustration.
Yeah, the frustration and all this other stuff.
When especially when
he's got the whirlpool versus the rock monster and he's like, why did you know?
Odysseus is so whack for that shit. You know, like he's like my fucking when they're in Hades and he's like, yeah, my prophecy is not for their ears.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Incredible.
all this whole like destiny stuff. But anyways, Jared, what's your favorite?
Your
scene?
turn.
I have a couple of honorable mentions, I think.
Okay.
Cool. The first honorable mention, obviously, you said the Troy. You mentioned the Troy siege scene, so I'm not going to mention that. The scene with Cersei turning the crew into the pigs was so unexpected in this movie.
Practical effects.
Yeah, and I thought a camera where you can kind of tell it's like a little bit of camera magic going on, and I love that.
A little bit of Sam Raimi vibes in there too.
And it was terrifying. Like
scary,
it was terrible.
Bro.
It was gross. Yeah. Like it was super disgusting.
It made me so uncomfortable the first time.
It was so uncomfortable, and I was like, "What is this? Like, what's happening?" And I'm like, "I'm on board," and I thought that was awesome. And you know, I forgot the actor's name.
Samantha Morton.
Samantha Morton. Amazing.
Again, the first time that someone since Heath Ledger has received a standing ovation from the crew. Like, I mean, that should show you. She might be up for an Oscar.
Yeah.
I would love to see a supporting Oscar for her.
That was awesome. And I think like it was such a great scene in the movie, like, and it worked so well. But my favorite scene, and I already talked about it a little bit, it's got to be the monologue of Matt Damon or his interaction with Penelope at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that
great one.
That was to me the most emotionally resonating, and like that was the one that made me the most emotional, because it was such a human moment, and it's kind of it kind of does a couple things for me. One, it ties the entire movie together for me. Like it ties the whole like suitor thing, and like I was, you know, why Odysseus doesn't want to like come back home. You're kind of like obviously shown it throughout the entire movie, but this really like ties his character arc, and it's just like Matt Damon's performance and obviously Anne Hathaway like is really kind of working with him in this one, and you could just tell like they're really like connecting in that moment, and he's being super vulnerable, and it's just very powerful because he's talking about things that are so like super relevant, but also just like personally resonating with you, of just like being maybe like what is human decency nowadays, like how far have we gone, and like what does it mean to like violate this Zeus's law, and like you know, it could be something very simple as a simple act, but it ultimately becomes like this whole thing of like how does this reflect on us, and like now there's no going back, and you know what I mean, and that it was just so and then the idea of like tying it into, you know, this PTSD aspects of it, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like
and
what happens when you realize you're the sea people, bro, and it's not some mythical. Again, like this movie starts off with like it's in an apparent time of magic. There's not a single moment in this film you see like any like massive gods. You don't see any like anything other than the Cyclops, which just could have been a big ass dude in 1177 that like murdered them. Just same with the giants.
Yeah,
you know.
Also, too, like the whole reason why they do the journey in the first place is that he just wants to head in a different direction from Agamemnon.
Exactly.
He was like, I'm tired of following him, sort of thing. So and it's like it's his own ego and his whole like exhaustion from like being in the work. Because obviously he's got some PTSD like already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of affects his decision.
He makes a valid choice in the moment.
But like, but in hindsight, it's like after a long war, like you shouldn't go in like uncharted territory when you don't know what's gonna happen, you know.
But it also speaks to like this idea of like there's consequences for all of the things that we did, and he almost feels like he's atoning for like these kinds of things that he's done.
The trials, like they're all trials, right?
Yeah, like and for because he feels like personally responsible for the you know, the siege of Troy and all of the atrocities that happened there, and like he's atoning for his sins in a way, and he doesn't want to see like the product of his violation and he doesn't want to see the consequences, and he's almost like a coward in that aspect. And there's like all of these things that are kind of bubbling up in the moment that are kind of like feel so relatable of just like, man, like, yeah, I really messed up and now I feel responsible, but I'm not man enough to respond, or I don't have the courage to take responsibility or whatever, but I still have responsibility to these other people and blah blah blah, you know. And there's all of these complicated things just happening at once, and it's just so like and they just play it so perfectly. And I think it's just really like, I think about that scene in particular like a lot. Yeah. And so it just is really it's in such a, to your point, and I thought that was awesome, like in such a like magical seeming kind of film where we don't really see anything super fantastic. You barely see
the sirens. Like they might just be women.
Probably like, the most,
you know,
crazy thing we see is maybe like Scylla or like the underworld, but like, you know, like we never really see the gods. Like it's very much these nature kind of like
pray to Poseidon.
Yeah, like it's very like this natural kind of feeling, bigger, like it's bigger than us kind of thing, but then it grounds it at the end with such like a human moment. I thought that was so powerful, and I think really helped me enjoy this movie a lot more. And it kind of ties in his intentions a lot, like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, it does hammer home that like, yes, he learns that there are consequences for my actions. Like this entire thing, you know, like he didn't want to, I don't know how much he wanted to be a part of the war or whatever, but like he had a big hand in how it went, and like who died, and like obviously like who is crew and they died. It was very much like that was where like the Oppenheimer Odyssey parallel almost like that the scene where like he's like standing over and he's like hovering around everyone while everyone like his troops are like slaughtering people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very much like the Oppenheimer scene where like they're basically all celebrating him for like launching the bomb and like America wins and all this other stuff. And then like his entire world just gets like super hazy and stuff like that.
He sees like the charred children, like the Japanese bodies like at his feet, and it's just like, holy shit.
And it kind of like tying it back to the Emily Wilson thing. Like to me, that's making a statement on heroism and like what it means to be a hero, because like he's celebrated as this hero, this legend and everything, but there's so much going on surrounding that of like his own decisions, and also like how people portray, like even back in Ithaca, like how they see this hero and they treat these
when John
heroes,
Bernthal, like now king of Sparta, is like out here talking about like who would like to share a tale or spare a tale of Odysseus, and Odysseus is like, I think this is what like plays in real great to like the Matt Damon casting, is like he's just a Joe Schmo guy.
Yeah,
like,
he's just like
Matt Damon, incredibly talented actor, but he gives like, you know, just a dude from the East Coast, just like a white guy that's just like complicated.
He's very much like a product of
his environment, bro. They're all products of their environments, and like men during this era were fucking terrible. Like they were just like, they would lay siege to just like lands and villages that had nothing to like defend themselves with, not just Troy. You know?
He references like, oh yeah, 10 years of rage, you know, fell upon the city that night, and it was like he saw like the worst of his men. Well, it was weird because there's also like there's like the instinct that he has. There's like one scene in that montage where everyone's getting like killed and stuff, where like he sees one of his own troops in trouble and he like helps them out, and then he's in trouble, and then someone like kills like Himesh Patel like kills the guy, and so it's like they're looking out for each other, but then when they're not looking out for each other because they're on the trail, they're just slaughtering everything.
They just smell blood everywhere.
Well, like one of my favorite parts of the monologue is when they pop Zendaya in it as Athena. And then it's like, oh yeah, she's
Amazing
crying, and then you
reveal.
realize why the projection of Athena is going on because she is just like a lady that was slaughtered in front of him, and then that simultaneous when Athena's like statue is being beheaded.
Yeah.
So
So good.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know if she was actually Athena. It's just like because Tom Holland multiple times is like, you have the eyes of Athena to mentor, and then finally when he talks to Odysseus without knowing that his daddy's home. Homie's like, yeah, you shouldn't look for the eyes of God, the eyes of gods and the eyes of man.
That also plays into the whole like
anyone could be a god type of thing.
Anyone could be
like,
a god, but also too like just the whole idea of the Odyssey as a story. I feel like that's kind of a meta. Like the entire movie is almost like a meta commentary on like the adaptations of the story itself, because everyone is telling very noble stories of Odysseus and like fond memories they have of him when like he was back in Ithaca. Yeah. And now we see all the stuff that he's done and all the sacrifices that he has like willingly or unwillingly made to like for
he is not exempt from
exactly. He's not exempt from like to kill his men so that he can survive and like continue on and like come home and make some sort of noble return type of thing. Where it's like there's like in your idea of someone and then there's like who they are, and like I think definitely like Telemachus like still has a good impression of his of his dad at the end. Yeah. But he's not the same guy, He's not he's not exactly the guy that like people say that he is.
To the very end, he's still kind of atoning for all of the things that he's done, like feeling like, and he's not even like really fully like he's very human, but at the same time like you can tell like he's kind of just
Odysseus has like so many intense moments in this film. I'd argue it's probably most of the moments in this film where he is at either like laying siege or he's at war, he's like fighting like the gods, perceived gods with his men trying to get home. But then there's like moments where him and Penelope are just talking about why like Agamemnon, like literally just to get fair favor with the gods and the winds, like sacrifice his daughter, and he's going to use this war as a reason to like have favorable trade routes, and like they're having very intimate like real conversations between partners. And then at the very end of the film, like his very gentle moments with Argos, his dog, like he has so many intimate moments for such a deeply horrific man, and a man who led deeply horrific people, bro. Like again, they were products of their environment, but the way the story like challenges you to think about it, I think is incredibly, it's just deeper than I thought they were going to go, which is maybe like, maybe some people had higher expectations of it. I didn't think they were going to go that. And I was like, hell yeah, I think if you don't leave this movie feeling some type of way about that, revisit again, see how like it hits with you after you maybe listen and you make it this far in the pod. But yeah, Odysseus is not like really like a capital H hero. He's just he's just the protagonist of this story that has been told. I'm the protagonist. Over and over and over again over thousands of years.
He's also like not the king of kings, He's just like a guy. He's just like a guy who just like fights this war for this general. Yeah. Then he never meets again.
Yeah.
Gets a nice bear hug from his boy.
He gets a nice bear hug in hell, type of thing where it's like, oh, just don't do what I did.
Yeah, he's like, bro, I didn't even make it home, bro.
Get back home safe and just like do this slowly.
And like, just be, watch yourself, watch your back, watch your people, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, your wife's going to stab you in the neck just like me. I'm sorry, bro. We are not the same level of bad. Shout out Odysseus over Agamemnon. Any day.
And that's ultimately I think why it's such an amazing scene, because there's so much in there, and I think it works so well as a monologue, and it obviously, Christopher Nolan pretty exposition heavy, but like it does it in a way where it feels like it's very much tying the rest of the film together.
Yeah, it's one of his best. Whoever edited this film,
Jennifer Lame,
it's great.
Also Oppenheimer.
Edited Tenet, Oppenheimer.
Anything else?
What else?
Well, she did great. I think this movie, like the editing of the movie didn't like feel great for me at the beginning, but like you're saying, like it just pieces together these tiny vignettes of intimate moments and huge spectacle, like just fucking fuck yeah moments where I'm just like, the magic here looks great. Yes.
Marriage Story, Hereditary.
Oh, wow.
Midsommar.
Okay. Oh yeah, she's kind of goated.
Wow. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, she's kind of goated.
I will say the editing in Oppenheimer, I think, worked this style a little bit better.
Yeah. I would agree.
But I would say like it still does wonders for this movie for sure.
Fire.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got a couple more questions.
Yeah, shoot.
Get it.
One of them is a technical question. We just alluded to it just a tiny bit, but we're going to talk about the score. What do you think of the score? Is it his best? Where does it rank?
Not
Type
his
of thing.
best.
What do you think?
Not his
What
best.
do you think
Definitely not
about
his
What do you think
best.
about the score?
I don't think it carries. Like, there's like Oppenheimer. It very clearly carries the film.
Yes, 100%.
And it's like
100%.
moving you through the story. Whereas
Yeah.
this one, it's very, I feel like, intentionally used to like bring,
In like certain moments, right?
elevate certain moments,
Yeah, I
like the
agree.
Siege of Troy,
Like the sirens.
like the sirens. Like it definitely, like it's noticeable when it's there. Whereas like in Oppenheimer, I feel like it was definitely used as this like this river that you're going through. Whereas this one, it's very
Yeah.
much like waterfalls of just.
I would call this like not even in like a pessimist or an antagonistic way. Like it is a bit of a gimmicky score because they recreated these like ancient instruments.
It's very true.
And like our
The
ears just haven't heard
Yeah.
that. Like it's tickling a part of your brain, or like Odysseus says in the siren scene, just like that. It itches it's that scratch you can like never itch or something like that. And it's like
yeah.
the music almost kind of does that in these moments where I'm just like sitting there enthralled with like the acting and how they're interpreting the scene, any given scene during these 3 hours. And in the background, there's like a really decent percussive soundtrack from Ludwig.
Totally.
But again, it's like the Siege of Troy, probably sirens, the Cersei scene. I think Cyclops has a memorable moment, and I think anytime Argos is on screen, very gentle, very kind. But the biggest thing Ludwig and them and like all like Christopher Nolan they all planned on is anytime Odysseus plucks his bow to give his opponent a chance to run
so
away.
sick.
It's one of the
Yeah.
single greatest like musical motifs in a blockbuster I've seen in the last like 6 years. Like it sends me every
Oh,
time.
it's
I'm
great.
like,
It's fantastic. Yeah.
First time I heard it, I
So
was like,
good.
and then
Tough.
everyone in the crowd was like, yes.
It's probably the most satisfying music cue you're gonna in like a long
Satisfying's
time.
perfect way
Very
to describe it.
satisfying.
Yeah.
Definitely a scratching the itch moment.
Yeah.
And, like it was very interesting to hear like there's basically no strings at all in this. Like
Whoa.
well, no like violins or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like there's like lutes and stuff, but it definitely felt like it wasn't this like classic musical score, but it was still using old instruments, which I thought was very
Yes,
interesting.
it is very like modern. It is modern but
Yeah.
ancient but
Yeah.
modern.
Which is
And I thought that
basically
was
weird. Yeah.
genius.
It should be the
Yeah.
byline of this
give this
entire
man
film.
his other Oscar already. We can already give it.
Guess
Well-
we'll see what Hans does
Well,
later this year.
yeah, we gotta wait
That's
for
true.
Dune. Gotta wait for
Gotta
Dune.
wait for Dune. And there's been some
Yeah.
good scores.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this should win the Oscar. I think that
No.
like I don't walk out of this movie thinking it's probably like fourth or fifth. I can't give
And
you
it's
like
not
a
really
list.
an Oscar baity movie. Like it's kind of like
got great
I mean maybe we'll get
performances.
some Best Actress nominations in there.
VFX
maybe.
and FX will go up against Dune and multiply it. Like
for sure.
the $2 billion movies of this year that aren't superhero based are gonna
Yeah.
go after it for the visual effects. But
Yeah.
but you're Chris. This is your fucking wheelhouse.
That's right. This
Where
is
do
my
you
guy.
feel?
This is
Where
my
do you
guy.
feel?
This is my Nvidia stock. This is what I keep saying. I went.
Man,
I
if
got
only
into
you got
invested
in
in Ludwig.
actually.
I invested in
long
Ludwig
ago.
so early.
If only
like
you
in
DM'd him on
Creed.
Instagram in 2013, be like, bro, take me with
That
you.
would have been crazy. Yeah. The moment I heard his score in like Creed, I was like, I'm in.
Is he
I'm
the
in.
GOAT?
For me, he's my goat. That's
I'm just
my
like
goat.
John Williams though, and like,
Like that's
so iconic,
Soderbergh.
but-
Soderbergh?
Maybe
No,
John
that's
Williams
not
is
it.
the goat, but Ludwig is my goat.
This is
and
kind
by
of
the end
like
of my life, he
Danny
could be the goat.
Elfman. You
This is
know,
kind of like the LeBron MJ GOAT, where it's like
who's
okay,
your Allen Iverson?
classic like John Williams is like MJ, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, or like you know what I mean. You
Yeah.
could like say
Yeah.
like wow, like he set the
He
standard.
won 6
Yeah.
chips.
If,
you
if,
know?
you, if you said he was the goat, people would not complain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Ludwig is just so like he is doing things, or Ludwig is almost kind of like mix of like LeBron and like Steph Curry.
This is
where it's like he's
2012.
changing the game.
This is
kinda.
2012
Yes.
Miami Heat.
Yes.
LeBron James.
He's
Like,
shooting deep 3-pointers out there in the
Yeah.
Odyssey. Yeah.
Just it's like this is you can go further with this, you know,
Yeah.
like and
yeah.
anyways.
Well, because like, oh, you know, we're
It's a good analogy.
Again,
I agree.
Going deeper into that,
Yeah.
it's because like it's interesting because both of them have worked on the same franchise. John Williams invented Star Wars music.
Literally.
Ludwig updated it. So
Yeah.
like the Shikari thing. I mean, the man
So
of
true.
well, you know what our thoughts
We
are
already
on that.
talked about that,
But like
yeah.
the Shikari cue in that is amazing. It
Yeah,
sounds so good. It's like its own movie in itself, and it's just like it's just too good for the movie. It's like
Yeah.
it actually doesn't deserve it, which is crazy.
The rare time I
Yeah.
think the movie itself as a whole surpassed whatever peaks, you know, like the music and the soundtrack it hit. But the moments themselves are great. But yeah, where would it sit on your list? Because I know you've thought about this.
That's the thing is that I think of all the big blockbuster scores that he's done, it's the least good. Again, I don't think it's bad.
Wow.
But I think that
going up against
I think
Sinners.
Black Panther, Sinners, Oppenheimer, Mandalorian, Creed, and Tenet are all better.
Okay,
and Tenet.
Shout out Tenet.
I think they're all better.
Still a movie I've never seen, guys. I need to
love
watch
Tenet.
it.
The Tenet score, that was his Ludwig's first with Christopher Nolan because Hans Zimmer started doing Dune. So that's when he stopped doing Nolan scores.
Yeah. Okay.
Tenet is just like, it just has like this rush of like energy. Like I still listen to it like when I work out and when I run because it feels like it's just like so urgent.
Yeah.
Like especially, have you seen Tenet?
Yeah.
Oh, you have, yeah. So like that first scene with the whole orchestra, like the whole heist stuff is like, I just think that's awesome because they use it in the trailer too.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just like, is so awesome. And I think that score is just like,
Fair
you can watch the movie. It feels like you can watch the movie when you listen to that score.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I don't think you can watch it as much because there's not a lot of like melodic things happening, except for like the.
It's true. It's true. I feel like they let the spectacle of the visuals do a lot of the heavy lifting in this one for sure.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of intimate moments where like the music's got to settle and it's got to be in the backdrop. Like it's a grandiose film and not a grandiose score. And again, like I like how you're saying it. Obviously, it's not bad. But it's just not, it's like of the good, it's not, it's the least best of the good. And
I mean, how good is Black Panther, right?
Oh, Black Panther's
me,
incredible.
dude.
Yeah, when I saw that, I've said this probably
Shout out
multiple
David
times.
Johnson, bro.
Multiple times. Yeah, David Johnson.
Shout out David Johnson.
But yeah, I saw that when I saw it live in concert with Seattle Symphony. Oh, incredible. They had the guy who did the talking drum. The guy who
they got their guy.
He was there. I'm like, this is amazing.
The
Was I there too? I think I was there too.
Oh,
Were you there?
I
was there too because I remember the talking
There it
drum.
is.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Anyways,
Probably there.
I went with Tyler and Doug, but yeah.
Play the clip.
Play the clip. But no, I mean, that's the thing is that Ludwig's body of work is just so excellent that I feel like I feel almost bad for saying that, but it's true. I just think
that's how good he is.
But like
that's how good he is.
All the other
that's crazy.
scores I just listen to on repeat all the time. I just don't think I've listened to this one like on repeat a little bit, but in the long grand scheme of things, this is not going to be replayed nearly as often as the other six that I
mean, it's
said.
just like it's like comparing like how do you pick your favorite child? You know what I mean? It's just like they're all good. It's just like this is the thing. This one went D1, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm joking.
The balls. Shout out Big
balls.
Baller Brand. No, I was like, the whole time we're thinking about this, I'm not like thinking like, where would Daniel Pemberton sit? Like, I'm like, who's Wemby? Who's the Wemby comp? Is he Wemby?
He could
Is he Wemby and LeBron?
A little bit. That could be that'd be a discussion for another day.
Another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be like a little bit that we do on the end.
That could be a Pinoys bonus for sure.
That's a Pinoys bonus. Yeah.
Okay, so that leads to my last question and one that I sort of teed you guys up for hours earlier.
Oh yes,
before
yes,
this.
Okay,
hello. So
big one.
The Odyssey.
We made it.
Okay, we know your ratings right now. We know your ratings right now.
Yes.
But what are your top 4 Christopher Nolan movies? Where does this rank among the Nolan movies? Does it make the top 4? Does it not? What is it?
First.
Harald, you're gonna start.
And I'm gonna have to add an honorable mention because I want to go top 4 for sure. I want to respect this. Honorable mention is my first Nolan experience ever, Memento. I think Memento at a young age had an impact. That is a crazy movie.
That is a crazy number.
Shout out.
Oh, that's the honorable mention.
That's an honorable mention.
Okay, because I was like, wow,
that's 5.
like Memento.
Okay. Memento is 5.
Crazy.
I do have to preface this by saying that I've never seen The Prestige and I've never seen Tenet. Those are my 2 gaps.
You haven't seen The Prestige?
Oh,
you weren't there at the movie night.
I think you would like Prestige.
I've heard good things. Just like I've heard, I need to see Tenet. Like that's just something that was unfortunate during an unfortunate time. But I got to put Memento 5. Shout out Chloe Gix. She likes that movie as well. 4, Interstellar, which before the last couple of years was much higher on the list. 3, Oppenheimer, going Oppie. Shout out Killian. 2, I'm going The Odyssey. The Odyssey is at 2 for me. It's made that impact on my life.
1?
The Dark Knight,
The
baby.
Dark Knight never leaves.
I love The Dark Knight so much. And I think I was like returning to that is that they said that itch, that is the scratch I'll never be able to itch because I'm going to keep coming back to that movie to itch that scratch. And I really do think that at the end of the day, it's a benefit to Nolan. It's a benefit to his growth. But I'm just like, his peak was that movie. Is it a Heath Ledger hard carry? Some would say yes. I think I might say yes. But in the way that I'm like, it's obviously a 5 out of 5. Incredible performances. I think Anne Hathaway is great in that as Catwoman. Obviously, that's our Batman. That's Christian Bale. There's so much Nolan slop in that movie that is just so delicious, and I'll eat up every single time of the week. Just, it's so funny. Like, it's such a dark film. It's like probably still to this day my favorite superhero film. And it's just one of those things that it's like also like a bit of nostalgia Saw it in theaters.
100%.
It's one of
I'd
the
be
earliest
watching
memories,
clips of
dude.
The Dark Knight just on a given day. I'll be like,
I'm
Heath
capping.
Ledger
Okay.
Joker monologue.
I'm capping. Memento, yeah, seriously. The first 15 minutes of that movie rivals every film ever made. It's obviously I'm on some crazy shit with that.
I think it was like the first IMAX sequence ever
Really?
shot, like for
My
a movie.
God.
Memento?
Yeah. No, sorry, Dark Knight.
Oh, I was like, what?
Wait, because I gotta say, Memento definitely is not the
I was
first
like,
Nolan
that is
movie
like-
I've ever seen. It was The Dark Knight, but that's where I gotta land. The Dark Knight is just still there. So yeah, it's Dark Knight, The Odyssey, Oppenheimer, Interstellar, honorable mention to Memento. Thank you, Chris Nolan, for landing and surpassing my expectations in every ways. And yeah, just sparking a debate this summer that we need. And I think more people who don't think about shit like war, like how we interact with each other, like Zeus's law, how does that play into our current reality? I'm like, shit, bro. Some people are having awakenings from this film, which is just credit to the text, credit to the people who have like paved the way for the Odyssey. Shout out Homer. We haven't shouted out Homer once. Homer might be 18 dudes, 18 gals, who knows?
Shout out Homer Simpson.
But, shout out Homer Simpson. I wonder what Marge thinks about this. But The Odyssey surpassed my expectations every way. I think that's why the only movie that can go ahead of it is The Dark Knight. But I'm putting The Odyssey at 2. So
Cool.
Those
All
are
right,
good
Jared.
picks.
tell the
Okay.
people.
See,
is your moment.
I'm gonna go right off the bat and say Odyssey is like right there on the edge
The
because
honorable
I think I
mentions?
need to watch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on the honorable mention edge because I think I need to watch it one more time. I think like I really enjoyed the movie and I really like it. I think I need to see it maybe a couple more times just to like really embed it into my brain and like think about it because I've actually went on like a random Nolan marathon the other day just
Fire.
to kind of see, or not like maybe like a month ago. I watched Interstellar. I watched Inception again. And man, yeah, it's cooking. But like, like I really like his stuff. I will say number 4 for me. Oh, it's top 4, right?
Mhm.
Top 4.
Number 4, I think is I think it's Inception, man. I think it's Inception.
Hell yeah.
I really messed with Inception when I first watched it. Leo's great, and I love the concept. It's like very high concept, and it was like kind of gimmicky. There's a lot wrong with the movie, I think, that you could pick out, but I just really enjoy like the thriller aspect of it. I watched The Prestige. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'll go number 4. I'll put Interstellar on there. I think Interstellar is a little bit overhyped, but I see so much like the Matthew McConaughey is amazing in that movie.
Docking.
Like iconic scenes. The iconic Matt Damon cameo.
When we saw this in IMAX, I mean, it shot it up for me. I was like, fuck yeah, dude.
It looks
insane, bro.
Yes.
insane in
Just
IMAX.
like you're ridiculous, Chris Nolan. But anyway, so that's 4.
That's 4.
Yeah.
2 and 1 are in contention.
Wait, what's 3?
3?
Three.
No. Sorry, it was Inception, Interstellar.
Interstellar
Okay, there
3.
you go.
Okay.
Am I missing anything here? I don't think I am because
No, you
like
said-
it was like The Prestige, Memento, what is it? The one where he's like a guy stalking the dude. It's like his first movie.
Following?
The
Following?
Following.
Yeah.
And then am I missing something else? Like,
Not sure.
do you have?
Hey,
his
your heart's
thing?
gonna tell you though what
But-
your top
but
4
the
is.
top 2.
Insomnia is the only one that really a lot of people haven't seen.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've
And
seen
then
it.
everything else
Yeah.
is like
Blockbuster trilogy.
And
Batman
it was like
Begins.
Dunkirk, Tenet, all
Batman
that.
Some
Begins.
people like-
Dunkirk. Oh,
Dunkirk.
frick.
People like Dunkirk. Some people like
See, yeah, stay tuned for my list.
Oh gosh.
Batman.
You know what?
Oh, okay.
You know what?
Focus back. You got this.
Wait, can you just like make sure Dunkirk is actually? I'm gonna probably put that in front of Inception.
So you're gonna
So
put
start
Dunkirk
at
at
4
4.
again.
So we
start
go
at 4.
Dunkirk. We'll go Interstellar.
Interstellar. So Inception is out.
Inception is out.
Okay.
Hashtag Inception out.
Yeah. Dunkirk was just a
Hell
masterclass.
yeah, okay.
in
Yeah.
suspense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Number 2 and number 1 are in contention, but I'm just going to rank them just purely off of vibes. Oppenheimer is his best movie, in my opinion.
Fire.
I think it's just like
Oppie
there's
won.
so many good, like he's firing on all cylinders. It really feels like, like this is the culmination of all of his movies, like stylistically, I think. But Oppenheimer, I just felt like was his tightest. Like, this is how do you make a movie about physics and the nuclear bomb like exciting? And it's like, wow, like I'm
You
so bought
create
in.
a mini
And
nuclear
so
explosion
much-
and film it.
So much suspense.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy's like it plays it perfectly. Like this script is unbelievably
Mhm.
awesome, like tight and everything. Like, for all of the flack I give Christopher Nolan for like screenwriting, like I'm not a screenwriter, but like, I thought that was
Yeah.
his tightest movie, and it's just so good. Like the score carries it. It never loses its momentum. So many powerful like statements on like, war in the current day and who Oppenheimer was a person, and you really get into his brain. And Come on, RDJ. Come on now.
Dr. Doom.
We got Joshua Peck in the mix.
That's crazy.
No, I'm just kidding.
Benny Safdie
That
pulling
is-
a rare back-to-back pretty important roles in
That,
these films. Yeah,
To me, is his
Florence
best
Pugh,
movie
man.
that he's made. All that to be said, I'll put Dark Knight at number 1, baby.
Okay.
Because purely off of, I think this is just nostalgia flop, not nostalgia slop vibes.
Yeah,
I just love that movie. Like
Hell
it's, I mean, for all of it, it's not nowhere near his best movie. I think. Like I think actually everything else in my top 4 is probably a better movie than Dark Knight. Maybe it's definitely carried by like Heath Ledger in a lot of ways, and also the actor who plays Two-Face, amazing in that movie.
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. He's that jawline, man. Whew.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, awesome. Like
Rachel.
And come on now, like you know, some of the things in there.
It's a come on now
come on,
moment.
like it hasn't like come on now,
come on now.
But that was like one of the first movies that I really watched in I think like you said, it was like
first sequence
this was,
film in
I
IMAX.
watched it in IMAX and I was
The
like,
bank robbery.
whoa, you know what I mean? Like this is so sick. You know, there's the whole other discussions on like what it means as like a Batman movie, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
like as a comic book movie. But like
It's a
just,
movie about a
as
man.
a movie. It's like a crime movie. It's so awesome, and I just like have so much nostalgia slop heart, like love for it. And I'll put Dark Knight at number 1. That
Okay.
all that to be said, as like a movie lover, it's Oppenheimer, right? Like I love as a movie, but as just like somebody who grew up watching movies, it's the Dark Knight, baby. I fucking love the Dark Knight.
This would be a fun one to edit for the short.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
for sure.
that'd be a good one.
Yeah, it's
Put
come
a
on now.
1/2. Yeah. The Dark Oppenheimer.
The Darkenheimer.
The Darkenheimer. Yep.
Yeah, the Darkenheimer.
TM it. TM it.
They'll
Yeah.
eat each other. Dude, I freaking love that monologue.
When he just like
These civilized people.
Bro,
They'll
when-
eat- like, come on now.
when
Everybody was
Joker-
in doing the
Each other.
Heath Ledger Joker impression.
when Joker just like jumps off that pile of money and then lights it on fire. Can we even talk about the fact that they had one shot to blow that be up, man? When they blew up the hospital at the end, my God. Anyways, it is not a Dark Night. We'll have another day for this. It's already been a long day.
I just purely love it. It's just like there's so much moments of hype, and I'm just like, sometimes, like I said, sometimes I'd be straight up just watching the different clips of that movie just because I love it so much.
It might
It's
be
like,
the first Blu-ray I ever asked my parents to buy us.
So exactly
the first
that
Blu-ray.
is the first Blu-ray I've ever bought was the Dark Knight. So it's like, how can I not put that on the list, right? Like
The Dark Nolan slot, baby. Come
So
on.
yeah, Dark like
Dark Nolan.
again. Arguably, all of the other movies are probably better, but come on now, come on now. You can't tell me.
Oh,
Put
my
Heath
God.
Ledger Joker up here, right here.
Arrest me now.
Michael
Arrest
Caine.
me now.
Ah,
Bop.
all right,
Bruce.
Thank you. Clip it.
Quiz.
Clip it.
Chris.
Done. Okay, here we go.
Play the clip.
All right, so because I don't have the nostalgia slop for Dark Knight, it is not in my top 4.
Fair.
It is not in my top 4. I never watched it in theaters.
Get out.
Wow.
I never watched it in theaters,
Wow.
which is crazy because I remember because 2008 is when it came out. I watched
Yeah,
Iron
yeah.
Man in theaters. I remember doing that.
That was
Crazy.
your first.
because I was like, oh, look,
09 or 08 later the year?
it was 08.
It was
Okay,
08.
later in the year. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it was like I remember I was like, okay, cool superhero movie where like guy blasts people. Dark Knight for some reason it just never like went. Maybe because it was
Crazy.
PG-13 or something like that, or just because it looked a little dark and my parents didn't want to take me to it. I have literally no idea.
Yeah, it's basically a crime thriller.
Basically, is a crime thriller.
Yeah.
It's like
I
very
had
much
a little
more
Batman
an
action
adult
figure
thriller.
and everything of the Dark Knight, like the Dark Knight version, and then they were like, whoa, like it was almost like Batman wasn't even a superhero. It's like having a James Bond action figure.
Yeah?
But anyways,
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Dark Knight's not on the list, but I'm actually gonna start with number 1 because we technically have the same number 1, even though it's not Dark Knight. Oppenheimer.
yeah,
I do think Oppenheimer is his best movie. It's my
Yeah.
only 5 stars that I've given a Nolan movie.
yes, agree.
yeah,
Same,
respect.
same.
I think it is
Same.
truly, yeah.
Same.
I do have to
Thank you,
say
thank
the
you.
top 3 on my list are all 5s, and then it drops
Okay.
from there.
I think, yeah,
Including
Oppenheimer
Oppenheimer.
is his one like truly excellent movie.
Yeah.
It is like, yeah, from like music, acting, writing, pacing, the way it's all like edited together. It's just like, I don't think Nolan. It's gonna be hard for Nolan to ever beat it.
It
I
was
would
like
say.
almost like he transcended the blockbuster
Yeah.
filmmaking into making like just this is a fucking amazing movie.
Yeah, because it's also like too. It's like not only is it like well structured and it's like a psychological evaluation of a man. It's like the nuclear bomb shapes everything that like happens in society today, and he like definitely captures like the gravity of like that entire thing of like not only like him like the consequences like the PTSD he has in his mind, but also just like the process of creating it and like the world is like unleashed because it is like the nuclear bomb always exists for the rest of time, and I think it just gets everything It's like it's a piece of blockbuster entertainment, and it's also like a very important piece of like history that is like immortalized on the screen. Anyways, Interstellar number 2.
Oh,
Yes, Interstellar
okay.
number 2 because of the theater re-release.
Yeah, dude, we went to that together.
Yes. It was not. Wasn't super high on it when I watched it. Like I will say, I didn't really give it a good chance. Like on like a FX rerun, I watched it on TV, and I was kind of like sleeping in and out of it.
It's been 15 years.
Yeah, but then we watched it last year in the IMAX re-release, and honestly, my mind just got my mind completely exploded. I was this
first Hans Zimmer.
Yes,
crazy,
when all
bro.
the cornfields.
I felt like
bro.
I was like transported to another world because all like the space scenes, like the visual effects look so realistic. It's like you're watching a documentary in space.
Totally.
Like it just feels like everything is like real. Like everywhere they go, it feels like it's a real place. All like the Tars, the robot, he feels real. Like everything.
Does Bill Irwin also play Tars? I think so.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
and he
also plays.
puppeteered him too.
Yeah, fire.
He also plays Tars, but like everything in that movie, it just feels like so big, but at the same time, it's like still has like like an element of like intimacy to it, I guess, with like Matthew McConaughey and company. But yeah, no, I think it's just another one where it's like not as complete as Oppenheimer, but I think just a pure spectacle. And you'll be seeing a lot of that on my last 2 picks because they are like more on the spectacle side of things, where it's just like my mind was just exploded. Number 3 is Dunkirk. Because I remember it was the first movie that I remember like telling my parents, being like, okay, we got to go to the Science Center and like watch this movie because I think this came out like, I don't know, I forgot it was like high school or early college, but I was home for the summer.
2016.
2017. But I remember I was home back in the Dale for the summer, and I was like, okay, we gotta come back. We gotta go back to Seattle. We gotta watch Dunkirk. And I was like, so I waited in line, and it was like, I remember it was like this big, like the big World War II event of the summer sort of thing. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then the IMAX comes up. It's like takes up the whole screen most of the time, and it just felt like you're in the event because like the way it plays with time, it's like 1 day, 1 hour, 1 week, 1 day, 1 hour. But just like another thing of the scale of it. I don't remember any of the characters' names. I remember that Harry Styles is in it.
So funny.
But like it just felt like a very like important event. It like felt very like urgent as a package. It felt like kind of like the Super Bowl of Christopher Nolan movies to me. It felt like just kind of like nonstop, like well-made entertainment that felt like it was like best experience on the theater. I have not rewatched that movie ever since. But I would say
should watch it on the smallest screen possible.
Exactly, the way Nolan intended.
On my phone.
I love those Instagram memes, like the way Nolan intended. It's like on your smartwatch, in the bathroom,
Watch it on my Garmin.
on your refrigerator.
Like one ear pod in.
One ear pod.
One wired ear pod in.
Those are amazing. But anyways, I just have such a strong theater experience with that movie.
It's crazy how much of that plays into your pick so far.
Yeah.
I love that.
I would say that, because Christopher Nolan, I take him as like more of like this, he loves spectacle. So I try to take him at his word for like the spectacle thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and that's what he knows how to do best, where it's like, there could be screenwriting flaws. Like I don't remember any of the characters' names. I don't think it really matters that much, but just like the whole package about it, and like you could feel the urgency of the characters. There's like that one scene where like there's like a plane is like slowly flying into the beach, and like everyone feels like, oh shit, is this the end of our lives sort of thing, and it just like flies in and it's super loud. And I remember like in the theater, I was like, oh god, like I'm getting anxious about this. Like, are they gonna die? And then everyone has to duck, and like the sand like flies.
Did you
over
duck
them.
in your seat?
Oh, I probably did. I
Yeah,
probably did a little bit.
40x.
Probably 40x duck for cover. But yeah, Dunkirk number 3, I think it's great. And number 4, I had a tough one with this one. This one could change, but I kind of like Tenet, I will say. I like Tenet.
That is a hot take.
That is a hot take. I will say,
but awesome take, actually.
I will
love
say
that.
there are definitely
watch it,
parts
man.
of it that on the surface don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And also too, like the dialogue, especially the first time, is very hard to understand. It was very famously there's like videos
mixing
on,
is
and the
just
mixing
freaking
is like you
crazy.
can't understand the dialogue.
They
everyone's
fought
got
so
them-
much to keep it off of streaming that they're just like, throw it on the screen, throw it on the big screen.
But it's one movie that like in the movie it like tells you how to watch it. Like,
it's very
don't
much
try
a
to-
meta commentary.
She literally
almost.
there's literally a character that says, "Don't try to understand it, feel it." And then really, I honestly hopped on board with that. I'll be honest with you, because I was like,
Fire.
there's a lot of stuff that is really nonsensical about this movie. But for some reason, it like when at the end when you see like Robert Pattinson and company, and like how him and John David Washington's characters like they relate to each other,
and it's like it's
like their temporal pincer movement.
yeah.
They're all like they're the past and the future like colliding in this one moment. I was like, you know what? I don't know how much of this actually makes any sense, but I liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought like the relationships between like those two like main characters are cool. The action set pieces are super cool, especially when like there's like a forward and backward exploding pillar.
Yeah, it's almost like he's like kind of just commenting on his own filmmaking style up
Yeah.
until that point. Like
Yeah.
it very much feels like what if Christopher Nolan made a Christopher Nolan movie? You know what I
I was
mean?
about to say
Like,
his version of the
Yeah.
Fablemans is just
Basically.
like when someone locks in, it just tells a story about themselves in a weird way.
or just like go lean into like what people think that you are as a filmmaker.
Yeah,
almost.
because even like his main character, like I said, like the Dunkirk, I don't know any of the characters' names. Tenet, he doesn't even bother to give the character a name.
Oh, fire!
He
That's
sa-
great.
He says,
He's just a
"I'm the
dude.
protagonist." He
Yeah.
literally says, "I'm the protagonist," and that's
Get
how
these
he
beggars out of here.
and that's how he's credited in the movie is the
Yeah.
protagonist.
That's hard. That's,
so yeah,
that's super
and
sick.
like
yeah.
Robert Pattinson, like he has a name. His name is Neil, but like the fact that like the main character of the movie does not have a name is like kind of crazy. But yeah, it is very much. It's like it very much feels like he wants to strip away all the details and all the stuff that you like typically think about when you
Yeah.
watch a movie, and is like, just watch me cook here.
Yeah.
Just watch me work. Watch me do my time inversion travel thing. There's a scene you haven't seen this movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, there's an incredible scene. I won't spoil it too much, but like there's one scene where like basically John David Washington fights a dude in a whole like gas mask and a suit. I'm not going to spoil it any further for you.
Okay.
That scene is incredible. The way that they use that scene in multiple things is kind of like
I'm
what they
hyped.
do in like
Yeah.
place with the way he plays with time. It is a direct like it's maybe his best way that he's ever played with time
yeah.
in a movie.
It's hefty.
It's like
hefty
almost
shit
it's
right
very
there.
the tenant name is almost like an allusion to the movie itself.
Yeah.
Like
Because you can
kind
also
of-
read it. You can spell it backwards. You can, yeah.
Also, too, they do a thing where there's like these like revolving turnstiles where like you can
Oh yeah.
you can go like you're going forward this way, but then when you turn in, you're going backwards through time.
Mm.
And I like that mechanic, but I mention it because even in the opening logos of this movie, the opening logos of this movie like really get me because there's like a little like music, like kind of like I think it's like a little violin plucks or something like that, and then over like the Warner Brothers logo, and then during the Nolan like the syncope logo, it plays it backwards.
No.
And so
It's hard.
and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna test this. So I put it in my editor, and yes, it is the same thing. If you rewind it, it sounds like backwards sounds like forwards, and then forwards sounds like backwards.
sick.
And I was like, that's so cool. That's a way to just like establish the theme of the movie right away, to like subliminally
Yeah.
to the viewer without them knowing like what's happening next. None of the inversion stuff's happened yet. And so I think it's just like that attention, like forwards, backwards detail is like something that I really like.
It's
That's
a
probably
travesty that this movie was not in IMAX for the whole world to see.
Travis Scott.
Travesty.
He did a song
He's
for
lit.
he did the song for the movie. Anyways,
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
That's what, man, the fucking, like, to get back on the Travis Scott thing for 1 second, it's so funny, that clip of Chris Nolan being like, yeah, he was on set at 9 a.m., stay around for 8
Learning.
hours, learning.
Learning.
I'm like, learning for what? I'm not
Learning
tapping
for
into
what?
the Travis Scott movie, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
I'm not
The
tapping
Astro
in.
World movie.
Yeah.
I like how we all had fairly, adjacent. It's hard not to have adjacent, but different.
You just
top
have to.
fours.
We all have different criteria for how we pick
Love
these
it.
I think
things.
so
I
too.
love it.
Yeah,
because
which is-
like
yeah.
like we're definitely picking like with our heart a little bit, and I think I always do that with ranking movies. I just pick with the
You
heart.
got it. That's what the Letterboxd top
Like-
four is for.
Yeah.
That's
What's
why,
your heart
yeah,
telling you?
exactly.
What's
And
your
but like,
emotions
and then
telling
there's also just a level of objectivity that like you just kind of
Yeah.
have to put in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Took me 20 years to get home because I watched Tenet 1,000 times.
There you go.
There you
Can somebody
go.
get these beggars out of here?
Beggars out of here. Anything else? Anything else you guys got
Oh,
about the Odyssey?
I just kept thinking about Tom Holland because we haven't talked about Tom Holland once. And I actually got to just say, I think Tom Holland works. Tom Holland, for many people, does not. I think he plays a very good.
I didn't think he was as bad as a lot of people are saying.
He plays a great prepubescent 15-year-old boy.
But did you see that clip where he's like, he's 16, right? And they're like, I think Telemachus in the
I heard
book is
about
like
the- yeah.
20.
I heard
Like,
about this.
yeah,
And they're like,
and then
never
he's like-
mind then.
It's
Sorry,
like
Emily.
they never discussed that.
Yeah,
It's like,
and
oh,
he's
I played
always
him like he
like-
was 16. I'm like,
Well,
what?
and that's the thing about this
And he's
movie.
like, oh, did I just fuck up my performance?
Yeah.
In one of those interviews where I was like oh, I'm a little bit convinced about Tom Holland after like watching a few times. I'm like watching one of these Tom Holland interviews. I don't remember who brings it up, but they're basically talking about how they shot the film, and it's like because you can only shoot 3-minute segments.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
you get the benefit of that where you get the fucking dolphins like randomly. Like what a
Yeah.
crazy shot to get. But you also sometimes have to leave in kind of janky takes because you only have so much shooting time. And you have so much so many casts, so many A-listers. Like
and
you
like-
have to land it. And I also think that like plays into it, but I get why that probably didn't play in for many folks.
And the dialogue scenes, like, because they had to use the blimp, they had to use the
Yeah.
mirror to interact with each other, and it's just
Yeah.
like that probably affects their performance. That being
Yeah.
all that to be said, I didn't think he was that bad. He was probably sorry to say, like probably the weakest actor in the film.
done.
Yeah. But like,
I do like when
Yeah,
he's
the
like,
feast is done for me. That was not good line delivery.
but after
That was
there,
for me,
afterwards,
no.
Really?
No, I didn't like it.
afterwards
I
though,
didn't
I
like
do
it.
think the final line delivery of him being like, my mom wants you all burned or something.
That was
like
pretty
that.
good. That
That's
was
a
pretty
great
good.
one.
My mother's wishes to see you all burn or something
Dang,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. That was
Good
pretty
callback.
Yeah.
I don't know why Tom's been on my mind this whole time. We're about to see him in about. You're gonna see him in 2 days. I'll see him in a few days afterwards.
Sure, we're about to see him on Wednesday. So yeah, we've had some fun times here today.
this was an odyssey in itself.
It was an odyssey in itself. We don't have a working
It's been
wide
20 years.
We don't have a working wide camera anymore as of about 15 seconds ago. So
yeah.
you're just gonna be looking at like that one and like this
Hey,
one over here,
B,
the iPhone. Yeah.
Camera B and C.
Camera B and
Yeah,
C.
put us side by side, Jonas, after 2 hours of editing. My God. Shout out Jonas for going through probably the longest episode of the year. But I do think if there was a movie that was going to be nearly a 2-hour recording,
It had to be this.
It had
one,
to be
right?
this
like,
one.
You know what I mean? This is probably going to be this most substantial movie of the year, probably besides Until Dune.
Until Dune.
Until Dune.
Unless Spider-Man, we come out of here talking about, man, fuck Odysseus, bro. I'm talking about the
How
plight
long
of
is-
the Punisher and Spider-Man, bro.
Spider-Man get like what 2.5 hours?
How long is Spider-Man?
225?
Let's see.
225?
Because the first critics just saw it. So
Oh,
man.
boy. What do
I don't
we-
even
I
want to
don't
know.
actually- I don't know if I
Just
wanna
tell me
know
how
that.
long it is.
it is 2 hours and 25 minutes.
Cool.
Got
Tight.
it.
I like
Yeah,
it.
pretty good.
Good shit.
Oh God.
But yeah,
That's
I don't
our
wanna
next
know,
step.
I don't wanna
That's our
know.
next
again,
step.
that's gonna be by the time you see us next. We will know. So
It's true.
yeah,
We'll be hulking out.
we'll be
or
hulking. We'll be
something.
hulking out or something. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that'll be for next time. But for now, thank you for watching our review of the Odyssey. This has always been executive produced by Jonas Hyllseth, edited by Jonas Hyllseth, logo designed by Jonas Hyllseth, conceived by Jonas Hyllseth. We are Jonas Hyllseth.
We
All
are
of us.
Jonas.
Yes, we
Hyllseth.
bum 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 bum. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going another
I was
direction.
going a different direction.
Yeah.
But let's go with this one.
Yeah,
Let's go with this one.
Yeah, all the fun back end stuff he does for us, and we, especially me, are always grateful for. Anyways, thank you for watching another episode of Pinoys versus the World. My name is Chris Angkico,
My name is Harald Hyllseth.
And I'm Jared Geralde.
and we'll see you all in the next one.
Can somebody get these beggars out of here?
Yeah.
Peace.